Bugger. Messed it up just a bit. Okay. Good afternoon to all of you who may or may not be watching right now. Yeah, we got some more games. We've got, well, I'm looking at this list. We got 230 games and all these other ones. Okay. So, yeah, such classics as Wario Land and Pokemon Generation 2 and Bubble Ghost, of course. Cannot forget the Bubble Ghost. Also, a shout out to Jimmy Stanley for the follow. That was a couple of days ago. I do recognise that name from certain circles. Also, shout out to Retro TAS for the bits. I do apologise for not announcing that at the time. I missed it. It didn't come up on my end. I don't know why. Also, I got a nice big mug full of malt drink. Let's call it that. Anyway, let's well, so what I'm actually going to be doing here, for the most part, I'm going to be playing a load of like multi-carts. I got this whole box full of just various cartridges, official and otherwise, and I'm going to be looking at a whole bunch of like pirate multi-carts that I either haven't looked at yet, or that I have looked at but just didn't take a look at every single game. So, before I get to that, let's have a look at a particular game that I think probably should be looked at, because this game, you know, is the sequel to the game that's currently top of the list, and I thought, you know, it's only fair that we take a look at it. And yes, it is time, well, if it wants to display the logo. No, we have to do that. There we go. Wario Land 2. Also, the battery doesn't appear to be working, because I'm pretty sure I had a save file on here before, and now there just isn't one. Well, we'll take a quick look at this anyway. So yes, Wario got himself his own castle after the events of the first game. Because that's kind of what the first game was about. It was about he was trying to get his own castle. Unfortunately, now these shadowy figures have decided to take over the castle. Also, yeah, it is mostly going to be multi-carts today, but I figure take a look at this while I'm here, because I have the game and what as well. Let me yeah, there we go. That's much better. Yes. Unfortunately, they have messed with Wario's faucet. And now his castle is flooded. Yeah, that's what the faucets are for. Also, yes, this is a Game Boy Color game. Wario Land... Actually, I should turn the game audio down on my end, because it's probably going to echo on the screen. There we go, that's better, I think. But yes, is the audio working? Yes, it does appear to be. So, yeah. Turn off the alarm clock! Okay, well, let's see how we do that. So, I like this bit, by the way. It's like, yeah, Wario's like, you know what? I can't be bothered. I can just lie here all day. Until I wake him up with the alarm clock. So, yeah, you ever played Wario Land 1? Well, this goes for a different take on Wario Land. As you can see. Well, firstly, the game's in full colour. Though, it's kind of funny. This is one of the rare games that got released as both a monochrome and a colour game. This originally launched as a monochrome game, but later in 1998, after the Game Boy Color launched, they did a colorized version. And that's the version that I'm looking at here. And, yeah. So if you've ever played Wario Land 1, well, there's a lot of similarities. The platforming is quite similar to that game, really. There are some notable differences. Firstly, there's no health system. You're pretty much invincible. If you take damage, all that happens is you lose some coins. Though, of course, given the nature of the game, it's in your best interest to not lose the coins if you can help it. And not losing the coins is potentially quite important. Also, kind of annoying when the enemies just, like, respawn when you're, like, 2 centimeters away. Feels like the kind of thing I would expect from, you know, like a Famicom game from, like, 1986. Not necessarily a Game Boy Color game from 1998, but there we are. So, yeah. Whole load of secrets here, as you see. Yeah, Wario, turns out money makes him invincible. Who knew? Well, probably could have figured that bit out. So I'm sure there's something up here, like, up and to the right. Although, the way that the colour looks on my screen, it's a bit darker than it is playing this Rover means. I'm not entirely sure why. So I'm sure there's a way you can break through the ground here. I forget exactly where it is, though. Yeah, here it is. Oh, I know you can get through this somehow. Aha! Yeah, can't stop me, game. Too smart for that. So yeah, some of the enemies can't really hurt you directly as such. Hold on, I think I have to go below the table? Yeah, here we go. But you gotta time it, like, specifically. Yeah, basically, grab all the coins and try not to get hit. Oh, that's right, you can just plow through this kind of. So we go through this door with this thing. So try not to get hit. Also, yeah, you can do a nice little dash there. And here we go. 50 coins! Yeah, give me all that. Keep trying to break open the walls. Also, yeah, I'm playing kind of sloppy, but whatever. Yeah, Wario Land 2, a game I'm not as familiar with as the first game. Also, yeah, the fact that they put so many of these enemies on the first level is kind of annoying, because they're one of the enemy types that I end up just taking tons of hits against. I think part of it is just the width of the screen. You don't really have that much space to react. Like, this game feels faster than the first game, and that isn't necessarily a good thing, considering that, like, yeah, the amount of coins that you're liable to lose. If you play like I do, at least. And, yeah, of course you have stuff like this, where it's like, you want to go down, but you can't because the enemy's in the way. You can't even kill the enemy half the time. Yeah, so you have to do that. But, there is more in the way of puzzle solving like this. And that I do like. And they, I guess, try to make it more of a platform puzzler sort of thing, in a way. The first game was a more straightforward platformer. But I don't know, I kind of miss just having the standard live system. In a weird way. Like, this game feels more modern, in a sense. Okay, well, yeah, we go for normal, because I'm rubbish at this. So we're going to go for the one-eyed thing. See if I can get it. Yeah, there we go. Not too hard, unless you're playing on hard mode, in which case you get to see it for about 3 frames, and then that's it. I suppose if you're playing via an emulator and you just pause the game, it'd be easy, but I'm not going to do it that way. For one thing, I'm playing this on a real system. But yeah, a lot of it is just kind of trying to break through walls, just to try to find all the coins. There we go, there's a bit more to this level. Yeah, get my revenge on this gate. Also, the cushion thing, it seems to activate late sometimes. It's like, yeah. Not quite sure what that's about. Also, Wario has so many fireplaces in this castle. I don't really entirely understand that. But, yeah, at this point, it's just kind of teaching you the basic mechanics of the game, like using the enemies to go through walls. Or yeah, using the enemy carcasses to destroy things so that you can go through the walls. Also, yes, Wario is back. And he's invincible. Just like Boris from GoldenEye. There we go, the dude that punches you. So I can just do that. Also, can you break through this wall? Because sometimes you can break through the ones inside the hidden rooms. It's kind of what a lot of this game is. Okay. There we go, you bash this dude. Like that, and then you win. And that's what a lot of this game is. There are, what, like 50 levels of this? There are quite a lot of levels. And as I say, this was also on the monochrome Game Boy, which is kind of the same game, but in monochrome. So, of course, probably go for this game, really. Okay, here is Guess the Number. And by guess the number, I mean put enough coins in until it shows you enough of these icons so you can tell what the number is supposed to be. So here we go. Good luck with this one. 1 in 10 chance. Well, so okay, let's see what we can figure out through the power of deduction. So this one, so this can be a 0, it can be a 1, it can be a 2, it can be a 3. It could also be a 4, or maybe it's a 5. Or, well, actually, no, it's not a 5, is it? Okay, it could be a 7 or an 8 or a 9. So basically, it could be any number that isn't a 5 or a 6. So, yeah, that helps. So we'll draw another one. Okay, so that's limited it a bit. So, I mean, it's what? 0 or 8. Okay, but you also look at the way that they've rendered these numbers. Like, you look at, okay, what actually differentiates them. So the 0 and the 8, I'm pretty sure only the middle tile is different between them. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that's the case, because you look at the 0 and the 8, only the middle tile is different. 8 and 9, only the bottom left one is different. 8 and 6, only the top right one is different. And then 7 and 1 are exactly the same, except for the top two, the two leftmost ones on the top row. I don't know. I'm not sure this minigame entirely works. Because, okay, so now we can answer. So we know that this is an 8. Except, of course, it's actually a 9 because the game is evil. Also, yeah, basically doing that minigame is, So that minigame is basically designed to be evil. Like, here's the thing with the minigames in Wario Land 1. They're kind of inessential. You could take them or leave them. They're not necessarily great in and of themselves, but it's also a case of, okay, here's a thing that exists, so you can potentially get extra lives, or you could, yeah, get extra lives, or extra coins if you get lucky. But it's kind of a, you know, you have half a chance at winning more money, half a chance at losing money, and I don't know, I tend to just ignore them. The problem with the minigames in this game, though, is that you really can't ignore them. If you want to get the best ending, you have no choice but to do those minigames, and there's 50 of them. You got to do 50 of those minigames? Actually, let me show this off just for the hell of it. So I think if, yeah, when you get attacked here, oh, you turned into Fire Wario! And then, yeah, you go into that form. And then you can break through the fire bricks. That's just a thing that this game does that you don't really get in the first one. The first one, you kind of had a few different forms. But this game, you get a whole bunch more forms than the original. So like fire form and levitation form and whatever else. Hold on. Can I go up here? Yes. I remember that being a thing. But yeah, this is kind of what the game boils down to. But here's the thing. Okay, so I lost that first minigame because I didn't know what the number is. So what I find is, if yeah, it's only worth doing these minigames if you're trying to get the best ending. If you're not trying to go for the best ending, you may as well just completely ignore them. Like, they're useless. So it depends on what you want to do. Personally, I can't be asked with the minigames because they're kind of rubbish and evil. Like, Wario Land 1, again, you can just kind of ignore them, and it's like, whatever. This game, it's like, well, you gotta do the minigames, and you have to do 50 of them. And the thing is, well, actually, no, it's more than 50, because you've got the guess the number minigame, but you've also got the other one, where you have to get the right, like, enemy face. And, yeah, I don't think they really work. It's just... Oh, can I go through here? Maybe not. Nope, can't go through that floor. I guess I have to go here. Yeah. Or actually, wait. Because I broke through something here, but I can't tell what it is. I can't see where the walls are. I'm sure that there's like some really like dark walls that appear if you play this yeah, just on a brighter lit screen. Doesn't really work here though. Also, I don't know, collecting all the coins in this, it feels inconsequential. It's depending on how you play. If you're going for the best ending, you have to try to find all the coins. Because the minigames are designed in such a way that you may actually need, like, to get a minimum of 450 coins to be able to reliably beat the minigame. So I'll show it as an example here. Okay, let's see how many of these things it takes before we can actually get it. So we obviously can't get it on this one because it can be a 0, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, or 9. Or 7, potentially. Okay, and it could still be an 8, 9, 6, 5, 3, 2, or 0. So that barely helps at all. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess it's a 0. So that time we got lucky. Yeah, so that time we got it in 3. But again, because of how similar the numbers are all rendered in this font that this minigame uses, you could potentially need 7 or 8 of those tiles revealed to be able to guess it. And because I missed that first one, the good ending is off the table. And, you know, it's not like a case where I can just reset and try again. Because the game automatically saves after every level. And I don't think there's an option to change that, because, yeah, if you pause the game, it just comes up with that. Select. Yeah, like, there's a save option, which is kind of pointless when the game... Well, actually, no, it's not pointless. But it's got a limited usage. I think there are certain parts later on that are kind of tricky to do the platforming on. And you might want to save on those bits, just so you're not having to keep doing preceding sections. But I don't think there is a way to go back and do these minigames if you miss them. And, like, you look at the amount of minigames here. Like, I mean, how many are there on this screen? So you got... Yeah, that's 50 as well. So you have to do that on every level. And you've got to do this on every level as well. Which is kind of overboard. I don't know. It's like, I can see what they were going for, but... Yeah, they really kind of overdid it. In terms of, like... Firstly, the amount that you have to do, but also... It feels like there's just way too much luck involved. If you're not... Like, if you take too much damage, you're just not going to have enough coins to be able to... Well, to be able to get all of those icons purely through skill. Like, you have to rely on luck to get it. Which isn't really good, I don't think. I don't know. I don't agree with how this game designs it, let's put it that way. Also, it's kind of funny when you look at the sort of the water sort of design. Like, you compare, like, the water effects in this to, like, the Sonic games on the Game Gear. Not quite as impressive on a technical level. I'm sure the Game Boy could do that. I think Batman Return of the Joker, they actually did have some kind of impressive water effect on it. But you don't have that here. So I can't break these jugs. But like I say, I'll play this one a bit more. Or at least play this level. Also, yeah, sometimes you just go through the bubble. Here we go. Oh. And the thing keeps moving on its own. Okay, now we're good. As long as you hold up there, you won't go back down. And... oh, here we go. Yeah, you got the duck enemies from the first game as well. Also, yeah, I'm just going around collecting the coins just for the hell of it. Boom! Just had to do that for the sake of catharsis. But anyway. We'll go through the door. Here we go. Yeah, what comes up must come down. Unless it's a space shuttle. I mean, those don't necessarily have to go down, do they? Yeah, this is like that bit out of Sonic 2 on Game Gear. Though actually, this is far less bad because you can't die. I don't think there's any sort of drowning mechanic in this. Because, yeah, that water level in Sonic 2 on Game Gear, really painful if you don't know the secret. But, I don't know. Then you get sections like this, where it's just, oh, you have to dodge the thing, otherwise you have to redo it. I don't know. It's like I say, certain things about this game feel somewhat inconsequential. Like, again, getting all the coins, if you're not going for the best ending, it's kind of whatever. And it's kind of a situation where, if you're not going for the best ending, then, yeah, you know, you can just kind of safely ignore a lot of the game's mechanics, it feels like. And not in a good way. However, if you are trying to go for the best ending, then there's a lot of painfulness that comes with trying to do that. Just because the game asks quite a lot of you to do that. I don't know. It's like Wario Land 1. Whenever you, yeah, if you try to go the best ending in that, it's just a case of maxing out the coin counter. Like, that's all you do in that game. Where, in this game, you got to do all those mini-games, and you have to win all of them. And if you lose one of them, you're done. Like, you basically have to shut the game off before it saves. Or, I don't know, maybe there's some alternative way, but I can't think of one. So I've hit the switch. Let's go this way. I have played further into this before, but I'm trying to remember how you do it. But, you know, there's a lot good that this game is going on. As I say, it's a very good-looking game for Game Boy. Can't really argue it from that perspective. And like I say, having all the different forms is good. There's a lot to do in the game. And there is a... you could certainly say there's more variety than the original. Just because of all those different forms that you get. But again, the enemies are just kind of there. Like, sure, you might get hit by them a bunch of times, but they feel like less of a threat than in the first game. Which, again, is just down to just this game changing its mechanics. Like I say, so this game, you're effectively invincible. You basically can't die. Unless, I don't know, maybe there's a bit that I forgot about. But that's how I remember it, at least. And also, I don't remember what you're supposed to do on this bit. Because I hit the switch and it didn't do anything. Kind of funny. I mean, Wario Land 1 has a section kind of similar to this. Actually, if I hold right... Yeah, that works. Okay, trying to go up. Here we go. Also, just jump in there, just in the off chance that it does something. Oh, I've got an idea. What's this? If I can grab this gate. No, it won't let me. Not the way I want to, anyway. I think you actually have to break these bricks, and then it's like, oh, here's another room that you have to access. Yeah, trying to go up, and yeah, there's nothing there. No, I guess not. Don't know how you're meant to get up that bit, because, I mean, there's no bubbles or anything that allows you to do that. I have gotten further in this. I don't remember this level at all. Is this a case of, like, if you, like, don't get the items, it sends you to a different level? I don't know. And this section is just annoying. Like, there was... I don't remember there being anything like this in the first game, and probably for good reason. I don't know. In some ways, this game feels a lot more modern in terms of design than the first game. And then other ways, it just doesn't feel as good. I don't know. It feels like the minigames kind of just throw everything out of whack. Like, if the minigames were better, or if the good ending was attained through a completely different method, probably would affect this game a lot less. Also, yeah, I don't remember what you're supposed to do on this bit. It's like, here's a bunch of doors, you press the thing, and nothing happened. Yeah, because, like, I press the switch and it does nothing. And I don't remember this being a problem when I played this before. So either I've pressed the switch wrong. It's like, oh, you're not meant to press the switch, because then that makes the next room impossible. But no, well, okay. Yeah, that's how you do it. So basically, don't press the switch, otherwise you can't finish the level. But, yeah, it's that kind of thing. I just keep getting hit over and over, and it's kind of like, whatever. It's not like... You know, if I'm not going for the best ending, then there's not really much of a punishment for getting hit. It's kind of like, well, I can just keep doing that over and over. And I'll beat the level anyway. No, don't give a toss about this. I want to play the game, I don't want to play this minigame nonsense. I mean, I wasn't really huge on the minigames in the first Wario Land, to be fair. Okay, here we go. But I don't know, it's kind of funny when I see people talk about the Wario Land games nowadays, and a lot of people seem to either... I forget if it's this game or if it's the third one that people tend to say is the best. I can't remember. I tend to get this and the third game mixed up. And maybe that's on me. I don't think I've ever really played the third one. Like, I've played this one to some extent, but I didn't really care to play the third one. Also, yeah, you can do that. So now we can exit the castle, and then you, like, mess about with the pirates and whatever. So yeah, here's a bunch of coins. And then you do this! Oh, maybe do this? Yeah, that's it. Okay, well, I'm probably not going to play much more of this. But I figure, you know, I figure I'd add this one to the list just because it feels necessary after playing the first one. But, okay, just for the hell of it, okay, how many tiles is it? Because I remember the first time I played this, it literally took like 8 tiles before I could get an answer that I could guess, because it was either a 1 or a 7. And if it doesn't show the 2 leftmost tiles on the top row, you don't know which one it is. So, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'd like to see you try to guess that with this. It's like, well, it could be an 8 or a 9. No, I guess it's a 3. Okay. Except, of course, punked! Because you don't know the difference between a 2 and a 3. Because we didn't show you the parts that looked any different. Like I say, the minigames really do bring the entire game down. Like, if the minigames weren't so shitty, this game would be a lot higher in my own personal standing, I'd say. Also, this bit is kind of cool. Look at this. I will show off this bit just because I like it. Yeah, the water turns you back into regular form. So there are some really good ideas in this that you don't get in the first one. But then there are like other ideas that kind of let it down to an extent. Also, you do lose coins for this, I think. Maybe I'm misremembering. Actually, no, it's this enemy where you lose coins. But only if you're in regular form, because this game's weird like that. I don't know. It's kind of, like, weirdly sort of inconsistent in that sense. So actually, let me do this, just because I can. So I think I can jump up this bit. Yeah, here we go. So you have to, I think you have to hold up, then it works. Okay, so let's keep going to this bit. I mean, I don't need every coin, it's kind of whatever. But, yeah, we do that. See, it's stuff like that that I think maybe is what gets these, like, Game Boy Color games sort of the reputation they have. But I don't know, I've never been able to get into these like I did with the first game. Because like I say, I've played through the first game, I never finished this game. I've played it. Again, I've played it to some extent, but didn't really care to finish it. And, yeah, replaying it now. I think it's mostly just down to the minigames, if I'm being honest. Because the platforming itself is fine, like the whole changing the mechanics so you have, like, infinite money and all that. So I don't remember what you do on this bit. Anyway, yeah. Wario Land 2. Well, I want to move on to the main feature for this, and that main feature is going to be all the multi-carts I've got. Just a whole bunch of them. But where does Wario Land 2 go on the list? Well, like I say, it changes a lot of things from the first Wario Land. I think they knew that they couldn't really improve on the original, where, you know, Wario Land 1 kind of takes Super Mario Bros. 2 and kind of perfects it somewhat through changing the structure of the game, making the difficulty more sort of standard, sort of more linear, and also just having that sort of money mechanic that changes the ending you get, similar to DuckTales. But Wario Land 2, they change it so that you have to do good at the minigames to get the best ending. Yeah, I don't know. I think this game is too long. Like, Wario Land 1 is about right in terms of length. This game, it kind of outstays its welcome for me. I don't know. Like I say, I never finished it. And I think that's a big reason why. And like I say, I just don't like the minigames. I know I keep saying that, but that's really the main problem with this game, because the platforming is generally fine. There's a lot of variety in terms of what you actually do. Although I think even that kind of runs out after a certain point. I think just because of the sheer amount of levels. Again, like, dozens of levels, you know, they probably could have pared it down. Maybe had about the same amount of, you know, if they made it about as long as the first game, I think that would have helped. This one, I seem to recall, it's probably about twice as long, but maybe not quite that long, but yeah, I mean, there is the whole thing of multiple paths, but I don't know, like Wario Land 1 had a similar thing, like there were optional paths that you could take on the overworld, and I think I really prefer that structure. Wario Land 2 is... I don't know. Like, Wario Land 1 kind of hits the right amount of linearity, where, you know, you want to go back and get more money so you can get the best ending, where, you know, there's a whole bunch of optional sort of secret levels that you can find. And, yeah, Wario Land 2, it feels too linear compared to the first one. Like, I don't know, it feels like you should be able to go back and do levels. Like, if you mess up on the mini games, you should just be able to just go back to the levels immediately afterwards. Or even just, like, I don't know, just go back to those levels, get the coins again, do the mini games again. I mean, that would be preferable to how they do it here. So what I'm saying is, you know, it's not on the level of Wario Land 1. It's certainly not as good as Bubble Ghost. You know, Bubble Ghost, the hero of the early days of the Game Boy. So, is this... No, it looks fine. Okay. Yeah. Certainly not as good as Bubble Ghost. I don't know. I mean, I would rather play Soul Falchion over this. You know, Soul Falchion, basically King of Fighters, but with different characters. Sprites ripped off from the Neo Geo Pocket Color games, like that sort of thing. It's quite good. And Wario Land 2 isn't on that level. Like, yeah, I mean, Nintendo World Cup is a better game. Super Mario Land 2 is certainly a better game. Even though that game may have just kind of a weird structure in terms of difficulty, I don't know, I enjoyed Mario Land 2 quite a bit more than this. The issue with Mario Land 2 is that the difficulty is mostly stationary and then just spikes up at the end, which is kind of odd. But I would take that over this. Super Mario Land 1, I think, is also a better game. But, I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, Wario Land 2 is still a very good game. It's just kind of certain structural issues that make it less a game than it could be. Because this should be, you know, on a similar level to Wario Land 1, and in many ways it is. You know, like I say, the platforming itself is really good. The whole combat works fine. The whole thing about collecting coins, I mean, that could be really good. Again, if the structure was different, I think that aspect of it would shine more. But the different parts, they don't interact as well as they could. And, you know, I don't think it's quite as good as Tailgater. Pipe Dream is a better game. You'd be better off playing Battle City. Even if the NES, you know, Famicom version of Battle City is maybe a little bit better, the Game Boy version is still very good. Yeah, I think Hong Kong is better. But this is a better game than RoboCop. Like, RoboCop does have the bangers, but I'm not sure that the combat itself is necessarily top tier. It does have the... But RoboCop does have that level where you shoot the man in the dick. Like in the film. And that does give it bonus points. You know, it has shooting a man in the dick, and it's got that banging soundtrack that was so good it got used in an advert for Ariston washing machines. Yeah, I think RoboCop is better overall. But it is better than the Flintstones. It's, yeah, I'd say it's the 23rd best game on the list. Yeah, I feel like that's something that Wario does do in his spare time. We just don't get to see that part because Nintendo is... They're a bit too clean for Wario's energy, let's say. But, like I say, I've got a whole bunch of cartridges here, and I'm going to take a look at some of them right now. So, where do we start? Well, let's take a look at some cartridges where there maybe aren't any games to cover, where I thought maybe I had looked at them and I didn't. But yeah, Wario Land 2, that is done. But what isn't done? Well, if I can grab my cartridges out here, it's a bit of a mess. You'll have to bear with me. Yeah, got all my legit games here, like RoboCop, and Ms. Pac-Man, and Space Invaders. Okay, so here's one that I don't think I've actually shown. This is the US version Super 2-in-1, which actually features Jurassic Park, which we looked at last time. So let's see if I can get this to work. Yeah, here we go. Features all your favourite games like Jurassic Park, Tom and Jerry, and of course other such classics as Happy Asteroids and Game Jurassic, Funny Asteroids. You know, do you want to have a nice go on Happy Flappy? But I was going to play Happy Flappy, but here we go. Flappy Special! Yes. So, colour cartridge? Well, I mean, the game's on it aren't. Yeah, here we go. So, Flappy, I played this one before. Oh, also I forgot which button throws mushrooms. I was pressing the B button. But anyway, we've looked at that game before, so kind of whatever. But yeah, as you've probably guessed, this does not have 32 games on it. It actually has 6 games. Jurassic Park, which I looked at last time. Tom and Jerry, I think that's the original game, which is not a good game. Either way, it's not good. But the original one is certainly worse. We have Flappy, Flipple, Asteroids, and Bomb Jack. Pretty standard selection of games. And I have done all of these games already. Like I said, I thought that I'd looked at Jurassic Park prior to that previous stream. So I thought I'd looked at this cartridge, and then it turns out I didn't. Actually, is it the original Tom and Jerry? I just briefly want to have a look at that. Yeah, okay, I think it is. Yeah, it's certainly not best of the best. Also, yeah, this has the same problem as the other multicart, where for some reason the audio in this game doesn't work properly. I don't really get that. Because normally there's supposed to be like an in-game soundtrack, and for some reason it just doesn't work here. Doesn't make any sense, because the other Tom and Jerry game doesn't have that problem. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, that is the 32-in-1, which I have looked at. Here's one I'm not even going to bother switching on because there's no menu. Is a Super 4-in-1, which I got from a kind of like a trade show thing. Has Dr. Mario, Clax, Motocross Maniacs, and I think Battle City. A bit of a problem with this cartridge, it doesn't work properly. So you actually have to turn the console on and off to change games. The problem is, the first time you turn it on, it comes up with Dr. Mario. Then it comes up with Clax, and then it comes up with Battle City, I think. But for some reason, it cannot play Motocross Maniacs. No matter what I do, it just won't play it. It doesn't make any sense. But let's see what else we've got here. Whatever cartridges I haven't looked at yet. So I think these are all ones I've looked at before. Yeah. For instance, like this one that has Holy Magic Century, the Bad Mr. Do clone, and F1 Race, a game that can bite my arse. Yeah, I think these are all ones I've done before. I've got this one that doesn't have a label on it, because the label fell off. Yeah, I've actually got a few reset-based Mega Drive multicarts. They're not even reset-based, like you literally have to power the console on and off to change games, and it's awful. The cartridges generally have a decent selection of games at least, but yeah, the cartridges themselves kind of lay it down. Okay, so let me get these other cartridges out here. So here is one that I have looked at before, but I didn't look at every game on it. This is the 55-in-1, no repeat. I think is actually true. I have looked at this one before. We'll briefly remind ourselves of what's on it. Yes, Harry Potter, David Beckham, So what? Pocket Music, Felix Cat, Jungle Book, Spider-Man 2, Tasmania 2, that game can die in a fire. Dr. Mario, yeah, so all the ones from Dr. Mario onwards are kind of the filler games. Though, to be fair, pretty much all of those games are better than Tasmania 2. Of course, you know, we have classics like Bubble Ghost and Flipple and Motocross Mania, which I'm pretty sure was a PlayStation game, wasn't it? It does have Tasmania Story, though. The one game that's worse than Tasmania 2 that was actually licensed by Nintendo. Now, here's the thing. So I've looked at all of these games before, except for the Harry Potter game and Pocket Music. Now, neither of these worked when I tried this before. I was actually trying to fix this to get Pocket Music to work, because I wanted to show this one off. Unfortunately, I could not get it to work. It just wouldn't turn on for some reason. It's just, whenever I start this one up, it just basically says it only works on Game Boy, or Game Boy Color specifically. If you play it on anything that isn't a Game Boy Color, it doesn't work. And I know this because I've tried this on my Game Boy Color and it works, but it doesn't work on the Game Boy player. It doesn't work on Game Boy Advance. I don't know why. It probably uses some sort of hardware trickery that causes it to malfunction on any other system. But here's the game that I was able to fix. Yes, Harry Potter in the House. As I say, I was actually trying to fix the other game. I took the cartridge apart and ended up replacing the battery. So presumably the battery died, and I think that's why this game didn't work. So here we go, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for Game Boy, so obviously based on the first movie. I haven't actually played this game for more than 5 minutes. Also, here we go, a bunch of minigames that I don't have unlocked. So, let's see what we've got. So, great. Really condensing the plot. I mean, they kind of skip the whole thing about where he abandons his foster family, who are arseholes, because Harry Potter's like that, I guess. Yeah, and they kind of just skip to the part where you're in Hogwarts, I guess. So what is going on with this? Mr. Ollivander. Okay, I don't remember this character. You know, it's been a while since I engaged with anything Harry Potter related. Like, I've never read the books. I'll say that for the record, I've never read them. I wasn't interested in them at the time, and I'm especially not interested in them now. But I have seen some of the films, and from what I remember of the films, well, the first film I seem to recall was alright. You know, like, the first film was okay to my memory. I haven't seen it recently. But it had this kind of sort of whimsy to it. It's like, ooh, we're going to Hogwarts, we're going to abandon this shitty family. And then we play a game of giant chess to not die. So, yeah, I don't know. Like the first film has got some good stuff like that in it. But then, like, the films just kind of got worse. And, I don't know. I never watched all of them. I got up to a certain point and I'm just like, okay, I'm done with this. I think it was like, was it Half-Blood Prince? Like, whichever one had that really shitty headmaster character in it. I think that was like where I stopped. Now I'm like, yeah, I don't have any interest in this beyond this point. Yeah, like I say, I haven't read the books, and again, don't really care. I'm like, my knowledge of this series comes from the films, and from the franchise being whored out to oblivion for the sake of merchandising. I mean, but granted, I mean, they've been producing games based on this since the beginning. Well, since they started making the films, anyway. But yeah, I'm more familiar with the bootlegs than I am with the official games. I know there was a PlayStation game based on this. Like, the first 2 films I had, I think, had, yeah, what was it, like, the first 2 films had game adaptations on PlayStation and Game Boy Color. I mean, we've got to go for Justus Piliwickle. That comes straight from the book. Yeah, I do like the bootlegs to some extent, just because they're weird. I mean, they've got that going for them. A Folio Maggie. Yes! The, don't you, like, beat up, like, Donkey Kong in that game? See, that is a game I wish I was playing right now. Not to say that this is bad, it's just, you know, I don't think, like, a bootleg Donkey Kong is going to show up in this. If it does, it will be the best game I've ever played. But, yeah, it's kind of just... So this, I think, is kind of like a top-down action-adventure, a bit like in, like, Legend of Zelda. I think this is more like that than anything else. Oh yes, because he's already famous. I don't remember him being famous at this point. Like, he was just some kid that ended up at the school. And then he became notorious later. You know, it'd be like if someone made, like, a game based on Breaking Bad. And then suddenly, like, 2 minutes in, someone shows up, he's like, "You're Walter White! You're the one that makes all the drugs!" And it's like, yeah, okay, we haven't even got to that part of the story yet. I don't know. Well, you know, something silly like that. Oh, wait, it's one of these games? Okay, I thought this was like an action RPG. Okay, I guess not. Also, yeah, Fliptendo Uno. Or Flipendo. What? I always read it as Fliptendo. I'm sorry. You know, I'm too, like, Nintendo pilled to not put, like, a T in there. But yeah, we used no magic to do this. Yes, there is a Harry Potter themed hack of Wacky Races. At least I think there is. Yes, no, there definitely is. I remember it. Because I remember the music being kind of fucked up. It's like, it's one of those where they like badly remixed it. I was like, who is this? This Fu Manchu? Because he might as well be, for all I know. It's like the famous Fu Manchu scene from Philosopher's Stone. It's my favourite part. But, Nimbus? The Comet? It's like, okay. Well, fortunately I can't afford a broom yet. Oh, we found a card! Actually, let's check the menus, just to, you know, just to do my due diligence with this one. So yeah, we're in Diagon Alley. Great. Well, it doesn't look very diagonal to me. Yeah, I mean, the game looks fine. I mean, this is like an EA game, and I mean, this is Game Boy Color, so you expect production values. So we've got status, so I don't think I can equip anything yet, no. We've got item. Hold on, no, I think the PlayStation game was like the action RPG, wasn't it? We got the wand. Can I equip the wand? Like, can I not equip the wand? It's like, I can't set the wand to my hands. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that, because obviously a Western developed game. Oh, no, I'm not allowed to use that, apparently. So what is this? Yeah, I'm sure there was like a Zelda-like in this series. But yeah, we've got a select card. Where's card? You can also save. So you can save whenever you want, which is good. Let's talk to Mr. Owlman. I'm not in the school yet. Yeah, there was like an owl character that shows up later on, I think. And I can keep finding cards, apparently. I guess it's just kind of a case of, well, you keep finding the cards. Okay, well, I wasn't actually trying to talk to you. I was trying to investigate the well. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Here we go, do some more Fliptendo. We've gone Flip City. And, yeah. Also, it's kind of weird that health is noted as SP. I mean, isn't it usually HP? I don't really get that. And we also got 2 sickles! Because, yeah, we're in communist Diagon Alley, apparently. Well, I've got 6 whole credit. And I can't afford any of this. What is this thing? Oh. It's a... I have to fight it. Okay, what does this do? Let me see this. Boom. Okay, it's just instant win move. And I got some pumpkin pasties, which I'm guessing is... Yeah. So I'm guessing that's like a health item. So yeah, I just keep looking around this bit. So presumably I have to go to the train station at some point. But I don't know, it's kind of weird when you look back on the series. Like, this is before they were just whoring it out for, like, all the merchandise. Because that's kind of what I associate this series with now, for the most part. Just like, you know. We want this to be the Monopoly board game of wizards. Oh, I got my health back. Okay. It's like going into the Pokemon Center. But like I say, I was expecting a different game. Also, it's not letting me open the door for some reason. So if you go to the door a certain way, it doesn't work. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, you go to the bandage place to heal up. Also, it's kind of weird that the town has enemy encounters in it. Usually not how it works, from what I remember. So, yeah, pumpkin pasties, licorice ones. You know, I want some every flavour beans. Yeah. Imagine if someone took the Bean Boozled, but then just ate every single one at the same time. Like, you'll be vomiting for days. Also, yeah, something about the sprite looks kind of goofy to me. Like, it makes me think of, like, was it the Syntax bootleg that they made based on this? It's like a platformer. It has kind of a similar look. Just like the way the glasses look, I think, more than anything. Oh, okay, we can buy a pack of name tags. Belt, leather belt, leather belt, 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 belt. Oh, do, level 18. So what does equipping these things actually do? Okay, try to figure this out. Okay, let's go do equip. And try to equip this stuff. Okay, so we've got the belt. Okay, it's going to be this one. So it's the increase... No, I don't want to remove the belt. Just increase stats. And wear the boots. There we go, we improved our stats a little bit. So yeah, it's kind of like yeah, kind of just a regular old RPG, really. Not a whole lot to say so far. Oh no, not the bookworms. Yeah. In other words, not me. Like I say, as someone who's never read the books, so what am I supposed to do here? I guess I go this way. No, apparently not. You've got that kind of like swirly effect. Oh, that's a bit of a problem. Actually, what do the cards do? Take a look at the cards. Oh. Okay, what did that do? Deflect! Oh, it's like a defense move, I guess. Okay, now they get to all do the thing again. Yeah, it didn't seem to help much. Fine, we'll just do this. At least you can choose which one to attack. It's not like bloody Fantasy Star where it's like, oh, we'll just make it so that you can't choose which one you want to hit. Always annoys me. When certain games of that era do that. But yeah, so far so normal. About normal as I would have expected, really. But is this game is as good as my malt drink? I'm not sure. Yeah, you know, I got a big tongue. It's an impressive beast. See, my tongue is a magnificent beast. Yeah. But some people, they just don't appreciate it the way that I do. Also, I don't know where I'm supposed to go at this point. Like, is Hagrid just hiding out somewhere? Okay, well, at least they made that cutscene shorter. Oh, hold on. No, I have to go this way. I think, yes. So, written on the door. Okay, so what happens on this bit? You get lost, press select to bring up a message. Okay, well that's what I was doing before. Oh no, is this like the... Is this like the, that one problematic bank area? Or is this a different bit? I can't remember. I just remember like one of the films had like a real shitty scene involving bankers. And apparently it's no better in the book version, so... We'll try to get ourselves through this bit. So, yeah. Here's Yo Boy Hagrid. And Grip Hook, you know, the legend. Yeah. When does Rupert Grint show up in this? Before he did that... that one, like, Postman Pat film that was apparently really bad. I'm not going to bother doing the Hagrid voice. This game hasn't earned it. Well, actually, it's more this franchise hasn't earned it. So what happens if I just go off in a random direction? I want to see this. So it's just, whenever it goes into this, it just makes me think of Final Fantasy. Like, that's my frame of reference for these fights. Here we go, do some more flip tendo. Captain Lou Albano would have made it very, very interesting. I can't remember who played him, actually. Because I remember a lot of these actors where, like, some of them were either kind of at the end of their careers and didn't really do much else. Like I think Leslie Phillips was in one of the films. Like, he just voice acting. Like, Leslie Phillips was in it. I can't remember who else. It's like, But no, like, it's kind of funny where, like, the main actors kind of went on to do kind of better things with their lives than to be associated with Harry Potter. You know, it's like, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, you know, they're kind of doing better things now. Though, what was it, like, Rupert Grint, he did that one shitty not Harry Potter, the, Postman Pat film, and I think that basically killed his career. Maybe I'm wrong, but I seem to remember that's how it pretty much worked out. There we go. Get some EXP. They got some nice scrolling effects, I will say that, with the background. And I do appreciate the fact that the encounters aren't random. Like, it actually shows you where the encounters are on the screen. And that's one thing that I don't like about a lot of RPGs. And one of the things that I really don't like about JRPGs in general is that random encounters were the standard. I've never liked that. Maybe that's just a me problem, but, you know, I much prefer my enemies to be visible on the screen before I fight them. Just never really made much sense to me. And, okay, so we've just got a whole bunch of locked doors. Kind of, you know, a whole lot about this. So, like, I guess I'm supposed to be looking for keys? Okay, what is this? Let's see if this kills me. Yep, we got a giant rat. Okay, we'll just see if I can do... Well, no, because the poison thing is going to be pointless, isn't it? Item... Oh, okay, you know, let's try to get rid of the big rat first. Because I think that may be important. How much health does this thing have? It's like, oh yeah, you try to fight Rattata, good luck fighting this thing. No, it barely took any health off. Fine, I'll just take out the small ones then, just so I can get them out of the way. Actually, I'm kind of curious what happens if you lose. I'm guessing it's a case of you have to go back to, like, the last save file. Or the last save that you did. Okay, let's try the pumpkin pasty. Okay, so that pretty much does what I expected. Just health. This is going to take a while, I think. But yeah, they're kind of doing the whole Chrono Trigger thing of where the enemies are actually visible on the overworld. I don't know why I keep doing this. Like, every time I'm just like... Just do another, like... What's the silliest face you can do? Fine, we'll do some Flip-Tendo. See how far we get. Some Flip-Tendo on the Nintendo. Apparently Flip-Tendo doesn't work on this thing, so sod it. Hooray! We got the EXP, and we got a new level. We got more defense. So you mostly just gain health for each level. Nope, can't go in that one. I did that big fight, but I still can't... Okay, we found him. So, I don't think this was a scene in the film, was it? Again, it's been a while since I've seen it, and again, don't particularly care to revisit it now, so if I'm getting the details wrong, then whatever. I mostly remember the chess scene, the bit where they go into Hogwarts, the bit where they're having the giant meal. That's kind of mainly what I remember. And also the theme song. God, I remember once I saw a remix. Or like a rap song that sampled it. It was like the Harry Potter rap or something. I can't remember. Yeah, it's just like... Which actually is much better. You know, Harry Potter themed the Trap remix. Actually, I think it was before Trap was even a thing, but... you know, see if there's... Like, why can't I just take the money with me? I guess they'd probably kill me if I did that. Okay, so what's down this way? So, presumably I can't go for any of these doors. Yeah, so here we go. Here's just a dead end. Try to make a way out. So I do want to see what's a bit further along in this game. So I'm probably just not really going to do the fights for the most part. Try this door in case it works. But I'm guessing... I don't know if you ever get to go through these doors. Although, given how the film goes, I'm going to guess probably not. So... Okay, so I do get my MP back when I win. But, like, you notice the amount of health that I get for each level, which is quite interesting. I do appreciate. I'm like, well... We'll just make it so you can just tank a lot of hits later on. But I don't know. I mean, with how I feel about where this series kind of went later on, I think this is the one time where I've wanted the game to suck and they didn't. You know, I kind of wish that the effort that this game had could have been transferred to that X-Men game from the previous stream. It's like, if that X-Men game was good, that'd be more interesting to me. Instead, you get a barely playable mess, with Wolverine just being a git and barely doing anything. So I assume it's the case that you just have to exit. Actually, what is in this section? Probably not much. So yeah, I think I just walked straight into an enemy thing. Also, I do note the fact that, like, poison is a mechanic in this. Sadly not the Bill Biv DeVoe song, but, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah. Harry Potter versus Wolverine. I mean, you can't beat those, you know, titanium claws. Just not happening. Nope. Can't go that way. Fine, we'll just leave. But that looks like you should be able to go this way and it leads somewhere. So, I'm going to presume, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm guessing later on maybe you get to play as Hermione and Ron as well. I mean, I would assume. I mean, actually, I'm going to look up a bit more information on this game, just so I know a little bit more about what I'm talking about. Because I don't really hear people talk about this game. You know, I've heard people talk about the Hogwarts Legacy game. And the controversy. Just out of, well, just the game existing, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this is back in the days before it was controversial. And I kind of missed that. But I'm also just looking, you know, Battleflows. Yeah, basically learn a whole bunch of magical stuff. I'm looking at the blurbs on this, just to see what the game says about itself. So we got over 100 characters. Also, like they trademarked the characters, which is kind of funny to me. So 120 locations. I like that they have exactly 120 locations. It's like, do we need 121? No, 120 will do. But also you can fly on the... I was about to say Magic Carpet, but no, I'm thinking of a different game. I'm thinking of that shitty Aladdin game from a couple of streams ago. No, I am thinking... Yeah, fly on the broomstick. I don't think there's any not Hogwarts. I don't think there's any Quidditch in this, though. I know there was a Quidditch game on PS2 that apparently was quite good. But also, it's kind of funny how... So, I believe if you go into the language option... I don't think I can do it here, but there is a language option. And you can select, like, US English, just in case you want to play it with the American title. I don't know if it changes anything else, but, you know, I know that in America this used a different title. It was, like, the Sorcerer's Stone. Not that it makes much difference, it's just one of those things. But, okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Here's your boy Hagrid. So when does he actually get to say, "You're a wizard, Harry"? So the one line that I remember offhand. Better about him being a wizard. That's kind of like the whole point. 950 sickles. Okay, well let's where's the shop to like buy stuff? Like the clothing shop? It's like down here somewhere. Yeah, because they changed it to Sorcerer's Stone because they didn't think people would buy a book called Sorcerer's Stone. Oh, sorry, Philosopher's Stone. I mean, if I want to go to philosophy, I'm not going to go to Harry Potter for it. I'll just put it that way. But here we go. So now we can buy some better clothes. So leather belt, plain boots. So what do we have? I mean, we may as well just buy this stuff because presumably it's better. I don't know. I mean, this genre has certainly come a long way from the days of the Famicom. I mean, you consider what some of those games were like. You know, you compare this to the likes of Hoshio Miruhito, or even like the first Final Fantasy just has a lot of weirdness to it that doesn't quite work. Oh, okay, if I press start, it just exits the shop, which is kind of weird. Dragon skin gloves. We got the pointed hat, which increases defense for some reason. Oh. Okay, so this one increases magic, this one increases, I mean, we'll go for this one, I guess. Increase my strength. Move the belt. Then move the... okay. Also, it doesn't change the in-game sprite. It feels like it should, but it just doesn't for some reason. Does this change? Yeah, okay. You receive school books. Well, you kind of need that. I never went to university, but I know enough to know that you have to buy books to study there. I didn't bother to do it because I'm too dumb for university, as evidenced by the stream that I'm doing. Considering what I do on these, but yeah, it is kind of a disappointment that it doesn't change the in-game sprite when you change your clothes. It feels like it should do that, and it just doesn't. But the little mugshot in the bottom right corner does amuse me a bit. Nope. Okay, I think that was just the bit that we were at the beginning. I do want to get a little bit further, because I'm guessing you have to get the broomstick at some point. But probably not right now. I guess, like, you gotta do another cutscene. Have you found all the hidden items? Okay, well, here's the thing I've already done. Because it won't do anything. So, yep, beat you to that one, game. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything I missed. So, okay, let's buy this, and let's buy this. I don't actually know what they do. Maybe it's kind of temporary effects during battles, like, you know, like strength up in Pokemon or something like that. Possible. Wouldn't surprise me. Are you a collector? Are you codes that will interest you? Sorry. I'm not good with London accents. It's like, what, mate? What are you doing here in Diagon Alley? You get nothing done. And what are you doing? Do we inside this place? This man blocking the doorway? Gotta collapse it. Well, I've got exactly 101 credits, so I'm gonna go for the copper one. Stirring choice. I always think of that one ad. Was it that one Chicken Tonight ad that Ian Wright did? One could say. Okay, so here's yeah, that's the cards. Here's oh, what's this? Yes, your boy Edgar. Yeah, the classic. Oh, that's a design though. Go good for that. The sneaker scoop. The yeah, the gift of the Magi. Okay. Well, let's go in here, get my health back, the MP and all that. Okay, well, yep, we're free to leave. So, am I supposed to go this? No, because this is just an alleyway. I keep thinking that's like the exit, because after playing all those, you know, Vast Fame games, I keep thinking that it's like, okay, you go down to this area at the bottom and that's how you exit. Except that's not how it works here. Check the list, go buy the rest of your gear. Buy the school supplies. Well, I already bought the books. So what am I missing? Like, do I have to go in this shop? I mean, I haven't got any credits left, so... Yeah, because surely it's not a case of buying any of this stuff, because, like, that's not school supplies, that's just sweets. There's got to be somewhere I missed. Okay, also... Can't go... No, I'm stuck in this corner. You know, here's this area that I can't walk into for some reason. I've already gone in there. But yeah, like, I've already bought the books. So I don't really know what else I need to do at this point. Because, like, you look at my items. Here we go, school supply list. What does it say? Oh, I have to get 3 robes? 2 apparently isn't enough. And a potion kit bag, I don't know where you get that from. Okay, well, I'm probably going to move on from this in a bit. So I think we kind of get the idea. Going to just a fight here just because I can. I mean, it's kind of weird that you're doing fights at this point in the game. It feels like something that should happen once you've actually gone to the school. I don't know, just feels a bit odd. But I know that there are, like, mini-games that show up later on. Like, you know, you got, like, the flying game and all this. But in terms of, like, as the type of game this is, and what they're sort of aiming to do, you know, there's something here. I don't know. I've certainly played a lot worse. But, not sure I'm really going to be bothered playing anymore. Again, it's like I said, you know, this is a game that I wish sucked, and it doesn't. Which, you know, you compare it to many of the other licensed Trek that I've played over the course of the series, you know, games like, yeah, like Tom and Jerry Frantic Antics, or, you know, Escape from Camp Deadly, Superman, Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, just like really bad games. And sometimes I wish that these franchises had better games based on them. But yeah, I mean, so this game certainly does not belong down here. You know, this game is far better made than those. I mean, as far as RPGs go, I mean, the game seems to play decently enough. It's kind of... I don't know. It's if you liked Philosopher's Stone, then this is probably worth playing further into. As I say, I don't particularly care for the series. I thought the first film was okay, but didn't particularly want to go back to it afterwards. So I don't know. I mean, as far as the actual game itself goes, I mean, I would certainly put it above Mega Man Extreme. It's better than Parasol Henby. It's also better than Zook Hero Z. It pains me to say that, because I have sort of an odd liking towards Zook Hero Z. It's not good, it's very jank, but there's something to it. But, yeah, no, this is a better game than that. Certainly better than Looney Tunes, because that game's just too bloody hard for its own good. It's better than Star Wars Yoda Stories. I mean, that game is alright, but it's a little bit... I don't know. It feels like they could have done more with it. Where's Dragon Slayer 1? I've lost track of where that game is on the list. Oh, okay, it's here. So this is definitely better than that game. Dragon Slayer 1 feels a lot more archaic, and again, I think there are just better versions of it out there. Like, you don't particularly want to be playing the Game Boy version. But yeah, I mean, it's better than Captain Knick-Knack. It's better than Alleyway. It's better than Missile Command. And it's certainly better than Looney Tunes Carrot Crazy. I feel bad that this is the game that takes R-Type out of the top 100. But I don't know. That version of R-Type is just kind of arbitrarily a little too hard for its own good. Just in case, you know, where you just don't quite have enough space to move around. And that's ultimately its undoing here. It's kind of hard to rank this one because there really aren't many RPGs to compare this with on the list. I'm not an RPG person anyway. So I may not necessarily be the best person to judge this, but this has to go at least somewhat higher on the list because the game plays generally fine. You know, it's not like I was getting lost or anything like that, particularly. And as I say, I do know that there are like bonus mini-games and whatever that come in later. It's certainly better than Boxall. It's better than Yannick Noah Tennis, even if that is a pretty good tennis game. It's better than Sonic 6. It's better than Yu Yu Hakusho Dai 4 Dan, which was an okay sort of fighting game, but not quite on the same level as this, I don't think. As far as licensed games go, I think this is probably better. Same for Muhammad Ali Boxing. Like, that game is alright, but it really suffers from just awful sound. Certainly on the title screen, anyway. But Muhammad Ali Boxing is alright. Pains me to say it, but this is better than DuckTales. I want to put this game lower on the list, but I can't justify that. You know, where I think about the quality that this game has compared to some of these other games. Like, it's better than Pinball Revenge of the Gator. Is it better than Kirby's Block Ball? Because Kirby's Block Ball has a really banging soundtrack. And it is a pretty fun and interesting take on Alleyway, or Breakout, or whatever. But there's definitely some frustrations to be had with that game. But I think that game is certainly worth playing if you like Breakout-style games. And I do. You know, it's one that I would say is definitely worth a look at. This is probably on a similar level. I mean, I would definitely play Kirby's Block Ball over this. Yeah, I'm looking higher up the list, and I can see Pokemon Diamond and Jade. I think that game probably has a bit more going on. It's a bit snappier. I wouldn't put this on that level. No, it's better than Kirby's Block Ball, but it's not better than Shanghai. Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with this game, is really just the IP that it's tied to actively hurts it in a modern context. But I mean, judging it as a game in its own right, it's... yeah. I don't know. I'd say it's better than Kirby's Block Ball, but it's not as good as Shanghai. It is the 62nd best game on the list. That's just how it works sometimes. So, I'm going to have to get my other box out with my other Game Boy games. But yeah, I mean, Harry Potter are just kind of a poisonous series nowadays. One that I don't particularly want to engage with, and not one that I didn't particularly want to play on stream, but now I have played it, and there you go. Also, I got this pirate copy of Pokemon Silver, which is just Pokemon Silver. Actually, I could show it to you right now if you want, just to prove that. As I try to find this other cartridge I've got. Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Yeah, so we'll start this one up. Yep, it's just Pokemon Silver. Not a whole lot to say about it, as it is literally just the English version of the game. There's no weird translations or anything, which is kind of a shame, because that's what I was hoping from this. But, yeah, it's kind of the thing about these pirates. Sometimes they're just boring. Sometimes you actually do get what's advertised, but just in a cheaper cartridge. But here's one that I've been looking forward to. This is the 4-in-1 from Manny. You'll see what this is when I start it up. So, let me see if I can get this working. First try. Yes, there we go. Hold on. Yeah. If it decides to work. I'm sure this worked before. I think this is compatible with the Game Boy player. I'll have to check just in case. If not, we'll have to skip it. Great. Always comes back to Silver Gunner. Also, yeah, this is a monochrome Game Boy cartridge, as you'll see. Yep, here we go. The Manny 4-in-1. So if you don't know what this is, unlike the other multi-carts I've looked at, which were all, you know, pirated copies of official games, mostly, I mean, a couple of them were original titles, or full of original titles. This one, I believe, is an official multi-cart, like, more or less officially licensed by Nintendo. Manny were the distributors of the Game Boy in Hong Kong, and possibly other parts of Asia. And back in the 90s, they released a few multi-carts of various games they published as standalone titles, I think. And they came from several publishers. So this is the IREM cartridge they did, but they also did ones for Taito, Nintendo, and I think Capcom. So, yeah, there were a few of these back in the day. So this is the, as I say, the IREM version they did, which includes all your favourite games like R-Type 2, Ninja Spirit, this game, and Matchmania. So Matchmania I've looked at before. This game is actually Ganso Yanchimaru, which I've also looked at before. So these other two games we have not seen yet. So let's start off with R-Type 2, see what it looks like. Yes, from IREM. You may remember R-Type 1 that I looked at previously, but I didn't have R-Type 2 back in the day. So, push start to play. If you press select, you have a menu, much like in the first game. And now you actually have 3 difficulty options instead of the 2 that you had in the original. Now you get the medium setting. And, you know, it has to be said, presentation-wise, notably a step up from the original. Like, you got this nice little intro cutscene. You have that cool text scroll at the beginning. So, let's see what they've got going on here. Hello Alex, how you doing? We're just about to play some R-Type 2 for the Game Boy. So here we go. Yep, so if you ever played R-Type before, well, you might know what to expect. So what this changes from the original, well, you can charge up the shot twice and it does that. And I don't remember all the layouts and everything else. There we go. So now we've got the... is it the triple shot? Oh, I don't remember how you do this bit. Ugh. Yeah. Good luck trying to do that full charge shot. There's so many enemies. Also, yeah, you gotta be careful with stuff like that. Because the game loves throwing enemies on you out of nowhere. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's one of those things, if there's no enemies on screen, just hold the button down. If you want to, in this game. Oh! Also, yeah, the game sometimes chokes. Whenever you just throw a hailstorm of bullets on screen. Sometimes the game just can't handle it. Also, I don't know how you meant to hit this thing. It just seems like... ah, okay, well, I guess that works. Show off this shot, just because I can. There we go. Nope, don't know if I can hit it with this thing. I probably need the other laser. Use the force! Okay, well, actually, I want to avoid the laser, because I remember what the first boss fight is like in this. And I want to see if I can survive to the boss fight. Yeah, good luck. This game is really aggressive. Let's just put it that way. Like, yeah, like good luck surviving this more than like 5 seconds. And I have tried playing this one before, like off stream, and yeah, don't tend to get very far with it, as you can probably tell. Like, this is a game that's basically just made to destroy you immediately, before you even do anything. Because it's yeah, that kind of game. Also, yeah, this is apparently the medium difficulty. Yeah, I'd hate to see the hard difficulty. It's like, this is... Yeah, we decided to just put an impossible mode in here, just for the one person who would want to play that. Yeah. You know, I wasn't a huge fan of R-Type 1 on Game Boy. You know, I mean, there's a reason that game is no longer in the top 100. Let's just put it that way. And, yeah, this game kind of gives me similar vibes as the first one. So, I'm going to go for the only option that I have at this point, which is to wait for the timer to count down. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm going to be any good at this game, because I'm not. Because there's really only one way to play this game, and it's this way. Because, yeah, forget about medium or hard, it's not even worth attempting them. This is a game that is made to destroy you immediately. And, yeah, so really easy is the only option that's worth bothering with. Like, you do not want to play this game on hard or even medium. Unless you're insane enough to be any good at these games. And, yeah, good luck seeing this on an original Game Boy. I don't have a working original Game Boy to test that with. But yeah, like, this is a game that's just made to just throw, like, 15 million enemies at you all at once. And, I don't know, like, that kind of design just doesn't really do it for me, generally. And also, you keep in mind the fact that this was from 1992. I mean, the original arcade game was from 1989, and you can kind of tell playing this, like, that this game was already several years old by the time this version was out. Because this does not feel like a 90s game in terms of design. Like, this feels like a game that would have come out years before. And I do mean that as an insult, because when you've got dated design in a shoot-'em-up from this period, that is a bad sign. Like, you don't want to design a shooter like this. Like, there is a very specific audience that likes shooters of this era. I am generally not that big into them. There are certain ones I like. I kind of like the first R-Type, and I have no patience for any of the later ones, I'll tell you straight up. Like, I don't have the patience for R-Type 2, or R-Type Final, or any of them. Like the later games, I can live without them, I've got to be honest. I'm like, yeah, you can keep this one. Like, R-Type Final, I tried playing that on PS2. Didn't like it. I thought it kind of sucked. Well, actually, it's not that it sucks, it's more that it's not my sort of thing at all. It's just kind of, yeah, just kind of brutalizes you. In a way that just makes me want to play something else. It's like, yeah, I could play this and, like, practice and whatever. But also, there are, like, countless other shooters where I don't need to do that nearly as much. And it's like, well, why wouldn't I just play one of those instead? You know, this is... I think that's the problem with a lot of games like this, where... They were the kind of games that, back in the day, you would play them because you didn't really have a whole lot else to play. So it's kind of like, you sit down and you learn the games that you have. But you play games like this now, and you kind of just go, yeah, I'm not bothering with this. I've got better things to do in my time. And it's kind of the thing, like pirate carts, I mean, a lot of them do just straight up give you more lives or health or whatever. And for good reason, like, you know. Like, I think Bits knew what they were doing when they added the easy mode into this, because the easy mode in the first game essentially is equivalent to normal mode in this. And I think, yeah, they were like, you know what, we need a mode that makes this possible for human beings to play it. Yeah, like Gradius 1, I did beat that game. Like, Gradius 1 is, that's a game that I learned to play, because I was just kind of... That's one where I just didn't play many games like that, and I was like, okay, this is one I want to learn. This game is short enough, and you can get the power-ups early enough that I was willing to stick at it, but it's also like, I just don't have the patience for games like this anymore, for the most part. But yeah, it's kind of funny when you look back at a lot of those pirate carts where they just straight up add tons of, like, extra lives or, you know, modes or cheats or whatever. Like, it's kind of a reason why trainers was such a common thing back in the day, especially on the computers. It's because a lot of the games were just bastard hard in a way that just didn't make them very good. And it's kind of the problem when you look back on these games now. A lot of them don't really stand the test of time in their sort of original context, like the way they were released. Because they're just too bloody hard. You play them and you're just like... There is an audience for games of that difficulty, but that audience is not me. Like, there's a certain subset of people, like the type of people who would want to challenge themselves to beat every, like, NES game ever. You know, there are a handful of people out there who would want to try to do that. But I think it's also a case that, you know, we have to look back on it now and say, well, most people aren't going to do that, and for good reason. Because a lot of these games... Again, it's the kind of games that worked in a different context, like, you know, back in the 80s or early 90s, where you maybe had a lot more time to learn these games. And, yeah, that's not really the case anymore. You know, like I'm a dude in his 30s, you know, I got a job. You know, I need that time for my job. And, I mean, you look at something like this and you're like... There's something here. Like, the presentation is quite good. You know, I'll say this, like, this is a well-made port of this game. When you consider what the original game was like. I mean, R-Type 2 was basically made to be like R-Type 1, but harder. And I'm sure that for people who had mastered R-Type 1 back in the day, there would be an appeal to that. But at the same time, I get the feeling that either that audience has gotten old and stuck with the games, or they've moved on, or whatever. Yeah, it just feels like some games like this... Like, I was thinking, like, you know, it's like there are two types of retro game. The ones that have stood the test of time, and are still worth playing to this day. And the types of games that were seen as good at the time, but, like, most people just wouldn't have the patience to play now. And I do feel like this and the first R-Type really do fit into that latter category. You know, like, even as a kid, I did not get very far into the original R-Type. I made some progress in it, but I certainly did not, like, beat the game. I never even came close, I don't think. And it's a game where I look at it now and I'm like, yeah, I don't particularly care to beat this. I'm like, I got better things to do with my life. Like, I played further into the Master System game, but even then I never finished it. I just got stuck towards the end. The interesting thing about R-Type 2, actually, is there were less ports. Because, like, R-Type 1, it was on the Master System and the, you know, the PC Engine, and those ports were really good. If you like R-Type, if you like R-Type, those are really good versions of it. And the Game Boy version was really good for that hardware, but it's hard to recommend now, where I'm like, yeah, it was good for 1991 on a handheld, but it's also like, yeah, don't particularly care for it now. It's a game that I mostly keep because it was a game that I had back in the day. But that's not to say that this game is bad. It's more... It's a game that really only a very specific audience is going to want to play today. Back in 1992, that audience would have been bigger, I'm sure. But, yeah, it's just, it feels like a game that just demands too much of the player, like, today. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do then? You know, it's kind of like you just kind of bang your head against the wall trying to make progress in it. And then sometimes you got problems like this, where your orb thing doesn't go where you want it to. And you just, like, having to fidget about. Like, I'm trying to get the thing on the front, so I can use it as a shield, and it's just not working. Like, I don't know, I don't remember it being quite this bad in the other... Maybe it was, and I just forgot. Yeah. Yeah, R-Type was never ported to the NES. I think because Hudson Soft got the rights to it, and they didn't want the NES to compete. Like, what even killed me there? There was nothing there. Like, there was nothing there. Unless, like, a projectile spawned where I was sitting. But, no, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about R-Type 2. It's a game that maybe was good at the time, but time has moved on from it, you know. It's better than the first game, pretty much only because it has that easy mode that makes it somewhat more palatable. Because, okay, you look at where R-Type is on this list, you know, 101. Again, in many ways, is good. It's a well-made port. There's a lot to like about it. But, like, if you're going to play R-Type nowadays, like, you're not going to be playing these handheld versions. Unless maybe you're really big into handheld, like, shoot-em-ups. Yeah, R-Type DX. So this basically put this game in colour, and also has the first game. Like, they put both games on the cartridge. So, I don't know, maybe that improves the gameplay in some way, but aside from the... I mean, the graphics aren't really what need to be improved. I mean, the graphics are fine. You know, I mean, you could improve them slightly with colour, but I don't think that's really going to change the game all that much. Like, this game is better than R-Type 1, but it's not much better. Like, I would put this above Flappy Special, I think. I think the added difficulty option does... Yeah, it does improve it. I think it does put it above Doraemon 2. But it's not better than Brainbender. I think it's... Yeah, it's the new number 96, you know, it's sub-Brainbender. But there's maybe something to get out of it. If you want to play that, you know, I mean, there was like a SNES R-Type, Super R-Type, which I think was based on R-Type 2. But that one kind of changed things up a bit more. So it's not like a straight port. Okay, let's get the other game on here. What's a good colour palette for this? You know what, let's go for the yellow palette, just for the hell of it. Actually, yeah, let's go for this. Ninja Spirit, here we go. You know, I've never played the first one. But you know what I have played? I have played Ninja Spirit, also from Bits. Licensed by Nintendo. This is a bit of an odd one because this never got released outside Asia. Also, there's a Game Boy mode and an arcade mode. I don't remember exactly what this changes. We'll try the arcade mode first. In the House of Ninja. So, yeah, I think this is sort of closer to arcade gameplay in terms of how it works. But yeah, basically it's a side-scrolling platformer. You play as a ninja who can jump really high. A bit like Ninja Gaiden, in a sense. And you can even get shadow forms, if I can show that off. Yeah, here we go. So here's my shadow self. A bit like Ninja Gaiden 2 on the NES, which has that. And I think the third game may have had it as well, I don't remember. But here we go. Got some nice graphical effects. Again, it's weird that this never got released in Europe. Like, R-Type 2 got a European release, but this did not. Spider-Man on the NES. Yeah, Spider-Man on NES is not a great game. It's far from... It's not, like, the worst game on the console, but... Yeah, you would hope for better for a NES Spider-Man game. Also, yeah, I picked the arcade mode first, just as a quick warm-up, because I know that this mode is harder. Also, yeah, you do have shurikens. And arrows, which are not great. Yeah, it's got kind of a Legend of Kage vibe to it. It's somewhere between Legend of Kage and Ninja Gaiden. Put all the R's. Okay, well, actually, we're not going to bother with the arcade mode. I want to play the Game Boy mode, because I seem to remember that being the better option, so let's try that one out. Also, yeah, from 1993. Welcome to the House of Ninja. Now, I've come of age. Also, I don't know why I picked this colour scheme, I've got to be honest. Also, you can shoot diagonally, so there is that. We've got the bombs, just blow them up. With the arrow. So I think the other arrows, or the other weapons are good for certain boss fights. That's how I remember it being anyway. Also, I think you have infinite, like, weapons. So, like, I could use the sword. Yeah, but you'll note that here I've got a health system, which I did not have in the arcade mode. So this is basically just kind of like a slightly altered mode that makes it a bit better for home play. They still have the blasted checkpoint system. And yes, also I'm going to be rubbish at this because I'm just too lazy to be any better. Also, no, you can't go in the well. Probably could have picked a better colour scheme for this, but whatever. At least you can stand in place and do this. There we go. Oh, also you have to do this as well. I forget what this boss actually does. Oh, yeah. Actually, when you use the shurikens, it kind of turns into Contra almost. It's like I'm playing Contra with a spread shot. It's like, what was it, when you get to the end of the waterfall level? Though I think this may do less damage than the sword. Because I think when I did this with a sword, it died quicker when I played this before. But yeah, this actually got quite a few ports. Like, no one talks about Ninja Spirit for the most part. But there were quite a few home versions of it. Like, this was on the PC Engine, I think. And it was also on, like, various computers. Like, there was an Amiga version, which I seem to recall is meant to be quite good. I haven't played that one, so I don't know. But, yeah, just like R-Type 2, I mean, this is certainly a well-made conversion of the game. No, actually, does the, hold on. Maybe the shurikens just don't work on this boss. Maybe you need to use the sword. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay, that's how you do it. Ooh, 64 and 1. Yeah, there's some good games on that. I do enjoy Legend of Kage to an extent. I mean, Legend of Kage is okay. Like, it's not exactly top-tier Famicom, but there's some fun to be had with it once you've got a bit of practice on how it works. Also, yes, Speed Pac-Man, or Turbo Pac-Man, or Super Pac-Man, whatever you want to call it. That is also quite good. But now we are in the Forest of Lincoln. Not to be confused with the Forest of Lincoln. So this is the one where the enemies just spawn constantly. Also, they turn green and then blue, which is slightly odd, but whatever. I think that's just the way they do the fade-in effect, and the way it shows up on the Super Game Boy, it's a bit odd. So I don't remember what that does. I think that maybe powers up the weapons. Oh. Also, yeah, you probably don't want to be using the, you probably don't want to be using that, like, spear attacks. You're kind of stuck in place while you're using it. Yeah, games on Game Boy that you would play. Well, this is one that I've played a little bit of. But I'm out of practice, so I'm kind of playing like slop. But, you know. One of those things. Oh. Nope, that doesn't work. So here we go, I'm just gonna fidget about until I win or lose. So, well, I can't see where the boss is relative to me, so I'm just gonna just do whatever. I mean, hey, I may as well use the shurikens, why not? Yeah, this does have like a Ninja Gaiden vibe to the gameplay. There we go. Hey, we did it. By we, I mean me and the shadow clone thing. The Valley of Suki. I remember struggling quite a bit with this level. But hey, guess what I've got? Oh. Well, I had shadow clones, and then the game killed me. Also, yeah, you still got Link to continues. Also, yeah, now the enemies have guns. Though, to be fair, I've got quite a few weapons myself, so I can just use those. It really is like just a weird version of Contra in certain ways. It's like, yep, now they're all armed, and they're all going prone so they can dodge your attacks because they're bastards. But I do like that you got a whole bunch of weapons that you just select at any time. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep shooting. There's no reason not to. Ugh. Okay, the awkward thing with this game is trying to switch your weapons, because you can't... Oh, actually, no. Okay, you can switch while paused. Okay, I was about to complain about that. But, no, I'm wrong. You actually can switch weapons while pausing the game. So at least there's that. Could certainly be a lot more awkward. It's kind of like switching weapons in the, what is it, the SNES version of Doom. Allows you to do that. But then there are other versions where you can't, which is kind of annoying. Also, I haven't got a clue how you beat this boss, I have to be honest. I never figured it out. Like, I do note the fact that you actually don't... Like, if you die on this boss, you actually don't get sent back. I think because they knew this boss is a cheap bastard. That's, like, near impossible. It's one of those where it's basically kill it before it kills you. Well, let's do this. There we go. Yes, I'm pretty sure it is the same one, because, as I say, there was a PC Engine version of this game. I want to say that version is better, but this is quite good. You know, it's a very good conversion, considering the hardware it's on. Also, is that Ninja, or is that like a camera? Is this one of those, you know, one of those, like, anachronistic, wacky Japanese games? I don't think it is. Like, they have guns, but I think they did have guns around this period, to be fair. It's also kind of weird. You can get on, like here, but you can't climb up the thing. I guess I'm on the ceiling, maybe. Also, I can't shoot up! The game doesn't let me for some reason. That's weird. I don't really get that. Okay, and... Oh, okay, we fell into this bit. I don't think there's a way to get health back, though. Like, other than beating the level, I think that's the only way you get health. Unless I'm misremembering that. But I don't recall coming across any health power-ups. But yeah, this does, Oh. Oh yeah, I forgot that actually does kill you. I thought it was just part of the background. Okay, well, I think I'll leave that there. Ninja Spirit on the Game Boy. Quite good. Certainly a lot better than R-Type. I'll say that. So, where does Ninja Spirit go on this list? Well, I'll say this. It's certainly a better game than R-Type 2. Like, this is certainly aged better than that. Because R-Type 2, again, is really a game that I think is only going to appeal to a very specific type of shoot-'em-up fan. Ninja Spirit, I mean, I don't know. I think there are better versions of this out there. Like I said, there is a PC Engine version. But this is quite a good version. You know, you want a handheld version of this back in the day. This one, I think, holds up pretty well. You know, like, you want a game that's kind of like Ninja Gaiden. Like, somewhere between Contra and Ninja Gaiden. But isn't really either of those things, but kind of works in its own right. Yeah, it's better than R-Type 2. It's definitely better than Boxel. It's a more interesting game. It's better than Shisensho Matchmania. And I would definitely put this above DuckTales. Because DuckTales, as good as the NES version is, the Game Boy version is just a bit too jank. It's better than Kirby's Block Ball. It's better than Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It's better than Adventure Island 2, I think. But we're kind of looking somewhere around this area, I think. You know. I mean, is it better than Felix Cat? I don't know. There's something about this game that feels not quite. There's not quite as much form as maybe some of the other games around here. Like, you compare it to, say, Donkey Kong Land. Like, the feel of the game is maybe not quite on the same level. But it certainly looks better than Donkey Kong Land. Certainly if you play it with a good colour scheme. Yeah, it's not as good as Second Space. You know, Second Space, really good Amador-style game. And I don't think this is quite on the same level as that. Yeah, I'm going to say it's not as good as Donkey Kong Land. You know, you got all the different, you know, animal helpers in that game. And there's a bit more going on with the levels, I think. But it is better than Kirby's Dream Land. So I'm going to say it is the magic number 53. You know, that classic magic number. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I will be back to play some more games. So don't go away. We're back. Well, I've got another couple of multi-cards here that I want to briefly take a look at. Starting with Color GBC. No, Super Color GBC. Got to get that right. 119 in 1. Yeah. Let's see what we've got going on here. Have a look at some games if it decides to work. Get the gunk off the contacts. It was working before. I don't know what's going on now. There we go. I think it was. But here we go. So we got more games to take a look at. So a couple of these I haven't looked at yet. But we do get the return of this classic theme song from, is it Last Bible Free? Or whatever that game was called. So there are a few of these I haven't looked at. So Harry Potter, that was the one that I looked at earlier on the stream. I think this is actually the Japanese version, because for some reason the game got released over there. Beyblade 3, I did try looking at this on a previous stream, and I couldn't figure out how to get past the menus, so I ended up just having to skip it. Now, Monsters Inc. we haven't looked at yet, so we'll look at that one in a bit. And the rest of these I have looked at. But I think there were a few of these where maybe I looked at on stream and I lost the VOD. So, yeah, if you need footage of me playing Sonic Adventure 7, you know, if you want to know why this is at the bottom of the list, well, you can probably already figure it out. But just in case you can't, yeah, well, I feel like I have to show this one off again just because I lost the VOD for the previous one. Apologies to all of you watching. You do not deserve this game. But I think I do for the mistakes that I made previously. Yep, the whole thing where it would just continue to run on his own because the game's like that. Also, yes, Green Knuckles, my favourite character. There's like a really bad remix of the launch-based theme. Yeah, so that little moment there, that tells you everything you need to know about that game. Yeah. That's all you have to know. I know there were a few of us here, like Digital Monster 4 or whatever. But, you know, we haven't seen Bomberman GB 3 yet, so we should do that. The rest of these games I've looked at already. So like Column DX, that's actually a homebrew game. And then, you know, all these other games. I mean, Shippo de Bun, that's Tailgater, so don't need to see that again. As much as I like that game. And then, yeah, we've got a whole bunch of filler games here as well. Well, let's take a look at Monsters Inc. I have no memory of what this game actually is, aside from being based on the film. But let's see what we've got going on with this. Yep, from Pixar. Fresh off suing the people that made Uniracers. Because they were like that. And Vicarious Visions, the makers of that piece of shit X-Men game that I played. So that's a good sign. Yeah, here we go. So we got the nice recreation of the ad. It's been a while since I've seen this film, but I do remember this one being pretty good. It's basically, our whole thing is that we scare children, but then like a kid escapes into the world, and then they all start freaking out. That's mostly what I remember. Yes, Vicarious Visions made some really good games, but that X-Men game is not one of them. Actually, did Vicarious Visions? No, that may have been Digital Eclipse who made that game. I can't remember. A company who's made far better games than that one. Let's put it that way. So here we go. Monsters Inc. for the Game Boy Color. Let's see what this is about. Continue. Badges? What? What's going on here? Yeah. Well, we've got the two characters. New game. Okay, let's see what we've got. So, I do remember the PlayStation game where it was basically you had to scare kids, and that was kind of the point of the game. So we can push objects. Ooh. Okay, it felt like there was a bit of, like, delay, but I think that may just be the, interlace... whatever it is, the delay with the capture device, let's put it that way. So yeah, this music is, got like a European feel to it. Yeah, Vicarious Vision's no longer with us, because, Activision are the harbingers of evil. Kind of a shame, considering where they came from. They used to be so much better than that. So, I think I can climb on this. Can I not climb on this thing? 'Cause it looks like I should be able to. No, I guess not. Well, I can climb on this, though. Yeah, I think it's just an issue with the capture device. It's just, you know, it's that kind of thing. When you got a capture device, you're going to expect lag, unfortunately, and it's not great for action games. Might be part of the reason I was struggling with, like R-Type 2 earlier. Though, that excuse only gets you so far, let's be completely honest. Well, looks about what you expect for a Game Boy platformer game based on Monsters, Inc. And apparently the whole concept is just you collect cans of soda. Like, you tell me what's going on here. Because that looks like what's going on to me. Is this like just a training area? I guess it has to be. Yeah, I think you're right. I misremembered terms. Because I'm a fool! But then, when am I not a fool? Let's be honest. So, do you not get to choose who to play as? Or do I have to play as... Do I have to play as Sully? I think it was played by John Goodman in the film, wasn't it? It's like John Goodman and Bill Crystal. Oh, we cannot push this any further? It looks like I should be able to, and it's just like, no. Yeah, so far so standard, really. Do you have to collect all the cans, or... Okay, what's the idea? Well, I got 36 of them. Okay. I think that's just a practice area, if I had to guess. Maybe that's a good idea. Okay, let's see what we've got going on this bit. The all-time scare record. So is this based directly on the film plot? Like, does a kid eventually show up and then we have to, like... yeah. Oh no, not the kid germs! That's why they all start freaking out when the kid escapes into the world. Yeah, it's probably just a case of having it on 60 or 30. Okay, let's see what we actually need to do here. Okay, so we go through the door, then presumably we have to scare the kid. Press the B button to scare. Hey, what is this? Is that just like a demonic toy? What's going on? Urgh! Scare this toy into submission. Well, to be fair, I mean, your videos are quite fine as they are. I mean, you know, in they're games from, like, the 80s or early 90s or whatever. You don't really need, like, 4K resolution for that. Oh, okay, apparently that hurt you. I thought it was just, like, a background object, but whatever. I mean, the game controls decently enough, I'll say that. Yeah, this does have kind of a Codemasters vibe to the audio. Oh, we did it. Okay, and that's it. So that's what the B button does. It's just you get to the end of the level and it's like, oh, you scared the kid. And I guess it's just a case we have to keep doing it over and over. So does, like, the plot to the game actually kick in at some point? That's what I want to see. Also, how did I jump onto this window? It's like I jumped into the background. I'm not sure if there's really any reason to collect all these cans of soda. Like, maybe if I collect it... So I don't know if it's health, or if it's a case of I get enough of them and then I get an extra life. So we go through door number 3. Don't know why it's purple, but whatever. Also, how come these kids' bedrooms are so big anyway? Like, I don't remember the PlayStation game very well. Like, I remember playing a demo. But I think that game may have come after this. I think that may have been, like, early 2002. But, yeah, pretty straightforward stuff so far. It's not bad. It plays decently enough. It's just that there's not a whole lot to it, really. It's kind of just a case of, yeah, go to the right, avoid getting hit by things, and then scare the kid at the end. But, you know, do you really need that much more than that? I guess we'll see. Doesn't seem like there's much of a danger of dying, though. Because, like, you see the amount of health I've got? Like, I'm guessing those cans of soda are the health, because that's what goes down when I get hit. Actually, did Alberto Gonzalez do the soundtrack? That's what I'm interested to know. I don't think it is. I think this may have been someone else, but got kind of a similar vibe to it. Actually, if I hold down the A button, does it continuously jump? Okay, it doesn't. Not that it really matters much either way. Just something to check. I wonder why these rooms are so big. It's weird. It's almost like I'm walking through the whole house. Hey, we beat Randy. Or Randall, whatever you want to call him. Well done, John Goodman, you did it. Imagine if the monster designs in this film, like, they were similar to, I don't know, like that scene in Beetlejuice where they go to the afterlife. Oh, collect pieces of paperwork. Oh, so Mike can double jump. Cool. Oh, okay, I thought that was the double jump. Turns out it isn't. That was. Okay, so find 5 pieces of paper. Okay, well that's good to know. So, was this made in, like, Germany then? Because those names sound a bit German to me. Hartung? No relation to the Hartung Game Master, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to do the double jump consistently. Because it feels like there's going to be a bit of finesse timing it. Yeah, it's like, okay, it's a bit like Shinobi free jumping where if your timing's a little bit too late, you just miss the jump. Also, yeah, I don't think there's any time limit. Like, I'd say this is easier than many of the other platforms I've played, at least up to this point. But that's not really a bad thing, I mean, considering the IP this is based on. Although, how do I... Okay, so I can't go into this bit. Ah, here we go. Okay, so you have to press down and then down and right. Zuboomafu. What is Zuboomafu? I have no idea what that is. Is that game any good? So I don't even know what Zuboomafu is. Is that like some German TV show that I never saw? Okay, where's the last piece of... I can't go through there. So the last paper is probably somewhere in this area. Oh, hold on. I see what it is. Yeah, I have to go on the left side of that drop. Gotta be paying attention to that. There we go. We did it! Also, it's kind of funny, like, some of the games on these are the Japanese versions. I'm guessing this game was never released in Japan. Or if it did, they didn't bother translating it. Oh, there we go. I got 10 pieces of paperwork. Okay, and that's the dash move. I think that's just used to break things. Like, it's not like Wario Land 2 where you can bash through things at the same time. But yeah, I mean, as far as like, you know, like your typical sort of licensed platformer games based on like films or TV shows or whatever, I've certainly played far worse. I mean, you think about the like you think about that Wolverine game I played recently. I mean, that game is far worse than this. Like, this game actually kind of plays normally, though certainly far from perfect. Okay. See what happens when I beat this level, because I want to see if I can get up to the point where the kid escapes into the world. So there are 10 pieces of paper. Okay, this may take a while. I don't get why these things are just falling out, like, ready to kill me. So there's, like, a piece of paper up here. How do I get to that? Like, do I have to climb? No, I probably have to go from the other way. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so, like, I try to dash up there, and it just doesn't work. Like, you can't dash with, like, you can't dash and jump at the same time. So I'm just like, okay, well, how do I make this jump? Like, I guess I have to jump off this thing? Yes. Okay. Hold on. So, okay, if I pause, it gives me a password. If I press select, it doesn't do anything. Yeah. B does that, which, you know, this level is going to be kind of pointless, but whatever. Come on. I'll try to dash through this one. There we go. Collect this. Oh, okay. Can I break through this or not? No. But yeah, Monsters Inc. I know that they made a sequel to this, like, years later. It was like, what was it, Monsters University. Is that film any good? Because I've never seen it. Yeah, this game kind of has a Wario Land vibe to it, but maybe not quite as good. So I'm guessing I have to push this thing to the left. Yeah, gotta get the PR. We gotta make the Monsters Inc. look good. Like, are they competing with anyone? Monsters Corporation? Yes, that's 5. I want to at least beat this level, just because I want to see if anything interesting happens afterwards. Don't know what happens with that thing, but whatever. Also, it's kind of weird that the music gets interrupted by the sound effects. I haven't come across that since Action 52. Yeah, trying to figure out how you dodge that consistently. Sometimes they just kind of spawn where you are. Try to go this top route. So I figure if I go the top way first, I guess the more tricky parts out of the way. Also, I don't even know what that thing is I just collected. Like, you got a bunch of items. Like, okay, you got the lives on the left. The cans, I'm going to assume, are health. Which is a lot of health when you think about it. And then, like, that third thing, I don't know what that is. Because it doesn't seem to do anything. Hold on. I get the feeling there may be something in this corner that I skipped. Check that. Nope, it's just a corner. Okay. They were hiding things earlier, but not that time. Okay, where's the last piece of paper? I don't want these things. I want the paper. Okay, I demand my papers. So I don't even know what these things... Like, okay, this thing in the background, it looks like you should be able to interact with it, but you can't. Oh, yeah, this is what I was worried about. It's like, oh, the last piece of paper, good luck finding it. You're being assaulted by whatever that thing is. I'm guessing it's like down on the ground somewhere. So that's kind of what I skipped over. See, this is always the problem with stuff like this, where it's like, you've got to find all the objects. Where the problem is that there's like exactly 10 of them, and you have to find all 10. And there's no in-game map or anything like that, which is kind of a problem for something like this. Because I haven't got a clue where the last one is. And there's no, like... There's no good way to keep track of, like, the parts of the levels I've already accessed. It's like because now it's like I'm having to backtrack for all the stuff I've already done. Because I don't know, like, what part I missed. Yeah, so this is kind of the problem that you run into with some of these games, like Euro platformers in particular, where it's kind of a case of you don't know, like, okay, you have to find all the objects, but there's no really good way of finding all of them. It's kind of the same problem I had with games like Jungle Book and all that sort of thing. Like, again, if there was like some sort of in-game map that you could look up on the level, it would help a lot. And it's kind of funny because I haven't needed any sort of in-game map up to this point, but yeah, this level definitely could have done with one. Or if they just made it so that there were more than 10 items that you could collect, and you only had to get 10 of them. You know, it's like maybe put like 12 in the level. And then just make it so that you could skip a couple of them. I think that would have helped quite a bit. Because, like, you tell me where I need to go at this point. So I'm guessing maybe it's in the other area? But it's like, well, how would I know that I missed something the first time? Yeah, it's like, okay, well, how would I know? It's like, okay, I need to go to this area of the level. And then, you know, you kind of have issues like this, where it looks like you should be able to go through an object, and then the game just says no. Okay, here we go. Oof. A door left open on the scare floor. Okay, here we go. So this is where the plot kind of actually kicks in. Yeah, it's kind of like the whole where the humor comes in through the sheer irony. Okay, and this is the gameplay in itself. It's just kind of like, ooh, here's a little cutscene. Boo! Yeah, so this is kind of just recreating the plot of the film. Oh, okay, I can choose characters. Nice. So I think it's kind of just the whole thing where you got certain characters that can do certain things. So it's like, okay, well now I'm Mike and I can jump all the way up here. Hooray! Oh, except I can't go through this green platform. No, I'm trying to go through the thing and it's just not working. Oh, wait, okay, this is the thing I couldn't go through. Okay, that's weird. Also, does it not look like I can climb on this ladder? And the game's just like, no. So, I think it may just be a case of go from left to right, isn't it? Yeah. You ever played the Rocky and Bullwinkle game on the NES? I mean, conceptually this part seems kind of similar. Just go from point A to point B, change between the two characters, and try not to get killed. Also, I don't know why the other monsters are trying to attack me. Like, surely I should be on their side. Actually, can I just dash into them? No! The dashing move is useless for attacking purposes. So you cannot attack them, even though it looks like you should be able to. But you can't even jump on the... Like, I think that's what's really lame about this game. Like, the fact that you can't... Like, you have no attacks. Like, you can only avoid things. It's like they didn't really understand where a lot of the fun of these kind of platforming games comes from. Just being able to, like, jump on the enemies or whatever. Here, it's just a case of don't get hit. But no. It's like it's missing something, and that something is any form of attack that does anything useful. Like, I can kind of see what they were going for, just that they probably had to go about it a bit differently. But I don't know, it's not the worst thing I've ever played. Again, I've played much worse in terms of licensed, like, platformers. I don't really know what's going on with perspective here, though. Like, I'm just going through the wall. Oh, hold on. Okay. I just realised, that's not a wall. That's meant to be the street. There's not a whole lot left to cover. Like... I've done most of the games in this series. There's maybe like one more stream after this. We'll see. Hold on. Do I just go down here and beat the level? Can I press up? Okay. But yeah, as I say, once I'm done with the series, there'll probably be about, I don't know, 250 games on the list. So there's not many left. So... Okay, so what else does this game have to offer? Probably not a whole lot more beyond what we've seen. Kid citing me... Did I say meatsy? I never got one to know what that is. Yeah, this is a very European game. Like, you can tell just from playing it. Like, the fact that you can't attack and the fact that some levels you're having to collect, like, a whole bunch of objects. I mean, I'll give it this. At least they make an attempt to follow the plot of the film. So, you know, certainly it could be a lot worse. Also, hello, Kaka, how you doing? Okay, I think we'll be done with Monsters Inc. on the Game Boy Color. So where does it go on this list? Well, it's certainly no Saigo, no Nindo, Ninja Spirit. Though it does have kind of like a weird sort of... I don't know, just the general movement feel has a bit of a resemblance to that. It's not quite the same. I mean, this certainly feels worse than that game. Like, just the way that you kind of drop like a rock. And, again, just the fact that you can't attack the enemies. Like, Ninja Spirit, you had several types of attacks. This one, you got none. It's like, you have a dash move, that looks like it would hit the enemies. Like, you're kind of, like, barreling forward like a fucking lineback, and yet you take damage. It's just, I don't get it. So, I don't know. It's one of those things, like, there's some good stuff here. Like, the presentation is fine. It actually does make an attempt to follow the plot of the film, which many movie tie-ins really can't be bothered with. Let's be honest. The controls are mostly okay, but yeah, as I say, the lack of attacks is a problem. And also just the fact that, like, I don't know, some parts of the game are just kind of drawn out where it's like, you gotta find all the objects. Oh, it's running quite heavily out there. But yeah, I would say this is certainly not on the level of Ninja Spirit. It's not as good as Mr. Do. Certainly not as good as Yannick Noah Tennis. I think that game holds up a little bit better. I mean, as far as licensed games go, I would rather play Doraemon 2. It's certainly not as good as Worm Visitor. Worm Visitor got that drip. And, Mike and Sully, they got something, but it ain't drip. Also, who came up with that word anyway? I'm sorry, drip is a terrible word to use in that context. I'm just going to throw that out there. But yeah, it's not much worse. No, I think I would rather play Street Fighter 2 though. As somewhat ropey as that port may be, I think it plays better than this. You actually have a decent range of attacks, which this game doesn't have. It's certainly not as good as Emo Dao or Emo Dao, whatever. Ishido the Way of Stones is a better game. You'd be better off playing Street Rider. But it is better than Godzilla. Like, Godzilla bears so little resemblance to the IP it's based on that you wonder why they even bothered making it. Like, Monsters, Inc. at least does a better job in terms of that. So I'd put this above Godzilla. I'd say it's a 143rd best game. But we do have another game to look at on this cartridge, so let's do that one. Like I said, I'm not doing the Beyblade game because I have no idea how to navigate the menus in it to get to the game. So, yeah, we'll just skip that one, I think. But here's a game that I think I can play, Bomberman GB 3. So, yeah, you might remember Bomberman. I recently played, well, I say recently, a while ago I played Wario Blast featuring Bomberman for the Game Boy. And I believe in Japan that was actually the first Bomberman game, but they reskinned it for the Western market. And I don't think this one ever got localized, unfortunately. But let's take a look at Bomberman GB 3 for the Game Boy. So we've got 3 different worlds. We've got Forest World, we've got City World, and we've got Ice World. Well, probably best not to pick the Ice World. But yeah, you ever played this Bomberman game before? So, Bomberman versus Man on Jet Bike. Yeah, like I say, I don't think this game was ever localized. So, yeah, we're going to have to play this in Japanese. Oh. No, it turns out they can just destroy the blocks. What's going on there? Because one of those things is just designed to catch you out the first time. So I'm just learning my way. So I don't know if maybe the forest level is the one that you're supposed to do first. It wouldn't surprise me. But then, like, why wouldn't that be the one selected automatically? I don't know. So am I meant to bomb this thing? Well, at least we got a cool remix of the theme. So it's got that going for it. And now I think we just have to find the exit. So look at how powerful these bombs are. This is only the first level. Well, give credit for that. Well, hold on. Okay, I think I'm probably supposed to go on the platform. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, it's like Bomberman 2, but a whole bunch of other games have this song as well. But yeah, again, if you ever played Wario Blast, this is clearly built on that, but they've made it a bit different, because that one is basically you fought like 3 or 4, you know, AI-controlled opponents, and they often just got themselves killed before you got the chance to even attack them. It was kind of weird. Hey, we got a nice Bomberman remix. Okay, let's try not to get killed. Okay, so it's basically these enemies can destroy the blocks. But look at how powerful these bombs are. Boom! Oh, hold on, I forgot to bomb. Do I have to bomb this? How does this work? Yeah, okay. Well, so far, I mean, it plays fine. I'll say that. Although, like, does the zapper thing kill you if you touch it? I don't know. So I guess press all the buttons down. Yeah, okay. But yeah, this is quite similar, actually, to, like, the 16-bit Bomberman games. Like, the single-player modes in those. I was never huge on single-player Bomberman. The only one I ever really liked all that much was Bomberman 1 for the NES. I enjoyed that game. But I never really got into the single-player modes on any of the other games. I tend to just play... Like, I don't know, when it comes to those, I always just prefer just playing the multiplayer mode against computer or human opponent, if I can find one to play with me. I don't know. I know I'm far from the only person like that. Because, I mean, Bomberman really was made to be a multiplayer game, but you can't really do it all that well on the Game Boy. It's kind of just the general problem with this. You know, the Game Boy can only do so much. As much as I like the Game Boy. Okay, I can't bomb past that stairway. Okay, that's a bit odd. But I guess it kind of makes sense from a perspective standpoint, so whatever. Yes, Eric and the Floaters. Well, I mean, that was a localized version of the original Bomberman for, like, computers, wasn't it? So, what do I do here? Okay, I don't know how to get this bit. So I press the buttons down that I can actually press down. Yeah, Super Bomberman, again, I like the multiplayer modes in it, but again, the single player modes I don't really care for. Or wait, hold on, the zapper things, do they kill you or are they teleporters? I'm gonna try this button first, because I don't want to risk it. Because it looks like the sort of thing that would kill you if you touched it. Yes, okay. But then, well, how am I supposed to get to that other thing, though? Like, if that's not what I'm supposed to do... Because it's like, well, if that's not a teleporter, then how do I get to the other part of the level? Okay, well, the computer-controlled opponent's still not great. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Bomberman on the Famicom, like, I like that game, but it's not really a game that you need to play more than once. Like, you play it once and, you know, you're kind of done after that. Like, there's not really much reason to play it again. Because as good as that game is, it's kind of just you're doing the same thing for 50 levels. But yeah, basically, you can't touch this thing. But it's like, well, how are you meant to... Oh, okay, I just noticed a big problem. So the way that it's spawned... Yeah. Okay. So can I not go through this way? Okay, so that's a spring. I thought there was... Well, I couldn't tell what it was, but it didn't look like a spring. But obviously, okay, trigger this last thing and then go to the exit. Oh. Okay, I can just fall off the thing. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Okay. Atomic Bomberman. Oh, I had that game. I did have that game back in the day. I played that a fair bit, even if it wasn't necessarily a great game. It was one that I did play a fair amount of. So I think this is the boss fight? Or, no, maybe not. Actually, what is going on with this? I don't get this. Oh, wait, there's a teleport? No, we got the teleport. Unfortunately, my bombs cannot go through the walls, which would probably be quite helpful in this bit. Yeah, it's like, well, what am I supposed to do there? Like, how would I know that the bombs wouldn't go through the teleport? Because that doesn't really make sense from just a design standpoint. And it's like, well, I gotta do this again. Oh, and also you lost all your power-ups because fuck you for wanting to play any further into this. You know what's funny? Like, the original Bomberman, you didn't lose your power-ups when you died. Or you certainly didn't lose your, like, bomb power-ups or whatever. I think that's one of the things that made that game more tolerable to play through, is the fact that you didn't, you had plenty of extra lives. And if you died, you at least had, like, a reasonable amount of power to fight the enemies with. See, stuff like this is why I really generally can't stand, like, the later Bomberman games. In terms of, like, the single-player modes. I generally can't be bothered with them. And stuff like this is why, where I'm just like, yeah, I could do this, but also I could just play, like, Bomberman World and just play the multiplayer mode in that and have a much better time with it. Because it's like, when you're so underpowered, like, you have to fight enemies like this, it's like, well, why would I want to do this? It's like, I always hate stuff like this in these games, where it's like, there you gotta fight these super overpowered enemies. Like, I'd much rather, like, fight someone who starts off on, like, equal footing to me. And the lack of power-ups is not helping. And I don't think this game even has, like, link cable support or anything like that. And, you know, it's not like a case of the game being old. It's just a case of they just didn't bother to implement that feature into the game. Like, I don't think this has link cable support. Maybe I'm wrong. But, yeah, I'm not sure I particularly rate this. Yeah, I mean, the graphics are quite good, but I mean, you would expect that for, like, 1994 or whatever year this came out. But yeah, it's like the fact that you, like, lose all your power-ups when you continue, it just makes me not want to continue. And that's not a good thing. But, you know, there are other modes in this, so I'm probably going to quit out of this. I mean, this single-player mode, I don't think is really worth much. Again, it's not really what I want to be doing with Bomberman. Also, there's no option to quit, which is good. So we got to start this again, just so I can try the other modes and see if they're any better. Okay, let's try this colour scheme, just because. So here we go. Bomberman GB 3, so where's the second one? I can't read that. Nope, this is just the password screen, but I don't care about that. That's just if we want to continue, and I don't particularly care to do that. Yeah, this probably does support Super Game Boy, but I'm not sure that would really do much. It's not like it would expand the screen resolution or anything like that. Yeah, so I think I remember this. So it does have, like, a caravan mode, or a challenge mode, or whatever you want to call it. Bomberman World on the PlayStation has this as well. So we've got the KDL, M3, and D. I don't remember what D is. And then M4. Okay, let's just try the one at the top. So I forget exactly how this mode compares to... Oh, that's right, yeah, if you hold down B, you can actually run faster. I always liked this mode in Bomberman... well, yeah, Bomberman World for PlayStation. This, I'm not so sure about, because it's kind of just a case of... Yeah, I mean, firstly, the enemies just kind of respawn. But this is basically a case of trying to get as many points as you can. Like, that's the whole point of the mode. So something like this is more conducive to what I want from single-player Bomberman. I always liked the challenge mode in Bomberman World on PS1. I always played that far more than the... It's funny, because I always played that far more than the game's actual single-player mode. Which, I don't know if that says something about me, or if it just says something about how these particular games are, generally. Let's see if I can bomb this thing. There we go. But also note the fact that it just respawns constantly. But we do get a nice remix of the Bomberman theme, so it's got that going for it. So I think you just have to try to get all the treasure chests. Yeah, I'm going to avoid the skull thing because I know... Yeah, generally you want to avoid those. Oh, here we go. Collect that. 400 points! I do like that it shows your, like, bomb peril on the bottom of the screen. That actually is quite good. There we go. 1,400 points. I can't read my ranking, but I'm guessing it probably wasn't very good. So, okay, let's try a different... Okay, I don't know what that setting is, but let's have a go. Let's try M3 and D. Oh, now we've got the bike. So now we can just straight up go through the walls. Except, immediately get killed. So yeah, you got the whole bike thing. I want to say that does show up in the single player mode as well, but I'm not going to play that far to get to it. So this one is collect all the gems. So I don't get like the evil faces. Also blew myself up like an idiot, but whatever. Yeah, got it really. So yeah, Bomberman GB 3 on the Game Boy. I mean, where does it go on the list? Well, let's compare this with Wario Blast featuring Bomberman, which was kind of an okay Bomberman game, but also could have been a lot more. Because you really only had that one like single player mode that was kind of lame. Because essentially it was, okay, you fight one Bomberman, then you fight two, then you fight three, then you fight a boss. The Bombermen were generally way too easy to fight because they usually just got themselves killed. Like the AI coding was so poor that they really did a whole lot, and it made it kind of suck. And then the bosses ranged from like somewhat easy to just plain annoying. There just wasn't a whole lot. It's a game that could have been far better than it was. But even then, like, again, Bomberman is always a game that's generally been defined by the multiplayer modes. And you don't really get that with either of these games. Like, this game doesn't have multiplayer. I think Wario Blast had a link cable mode, and this game doesn't even seem to have that. But the single-player content is certainly better than what you would find in Wario Blast. Like, I would take this game over Wario Blast overall. Because at least the challenge mode, I would be okay with like playing that more until I could beat the high score. Like, that certainly is far preferable to what Wario Blast has, so it's better than that. It's better than Double Dragon. It's better than Cheeky Cheeky Tengoku. It's better than Story of Lasama. It's certainly better than R-Type. It's also better than Flappy Special, I think. So Flappy Special is just a bit too slow. It's better than R-Type 2. It certainly annoys me a lot less than that game. Let me think. Yeah, it's better than Pocket Monster Go Go Go.
Quit your jibber jabber! You ain't hurt! You pathetic! Ah!
It's better than Wave Race. Because Wave Race, I don't know. Could have been better. Like, I would play this over Wave Race, but I wouldn't play it over Yannick Noah Tennis. Yannick Noah Tennis, you know, it's one of those games that's more rewarding for practice. By comparison, I think. So, yeah, I'm going to say... Yeah, it's our number 86. The 86th best game. Which, of course, means that there are 85 games better than it. But let's take a look at the next multi-card that we've got here. Which is... one with a really faded label. I think I've looked at this one before. Collar GB 95-1, whatever. Okay. And this will be the last multi-cart that I do today. Hopefully it works. Yep, and it's this song again. So, looking at the games we've got here. So, yeah, Rockman X2, I have not done. I think I've done all these other games. So, like, the Pokemon games I've done. All the other Mega Man games I've done. You may remember Rockman World 8. You know, that, classic. And you may also remember games like Wario's Blast, or Mario and Yoshi, which is not particularly great. And all these other games that I've done. But let's do the one game I haven't done yet, which is Rockman X2, also known as Rockman X2 Solar Racer. Yes, from Capcom. We're just going to skip through the text, because I can't read it anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have the English version of this game, so we're kind of just stuck with the Japanese mode. So yeah, we've got X mode and Zero mode. Also got the options. Which one was the... Yeah, I think we want to switch this on. So let's go for that. We'll see, yes. Just Iris, I think? Whatever her name was. Yeah, I'm just going to skip through all this text because I can't read it anyway. So it's not like it matters. But yeah, here we go. Rockman X2! Yes, if you remember Rockman X1, well, yeah. Might look rather familiar. So I have played this game a little bit off stream, just out of interest. Because I need to have a point of reference to see really how this compares to the original. So this game you have Zero, and you can play as Zero in this as well. I don't think it was playable in the first game. Now with this series, they took a bit of a different tactic as compared to the original Mega Man games on Game Boy. Because those, it was basically a case that they would do 4 levels from one game and then 4 from the sequel. And then they'd, you know, do the same again for the next game, the following game. Except for the 5th game, where they didn't do that, and just did their own original thing. But this one, so the first game was based on Mega Man X1 and X2. This is based on X3 and X4. So they have changed it a little bit. I think the reason why they did that is presumably just because... Well, this was 2001, and... You know, by the time that they made Mega Man Extreme for Game Boy Color, like, the Game Boy Advance was already on its way. Like, the first game in this series had launched in, I think, October 2000 in Japan. And the Game Boy Advance launched about 6 months later. Like, it really was not... It was not far off from the release of the first game. And by the time this game came out, the Game Boy Advance was already out. So, they probably knew that they really were not going to be doing much beyond this game. And of course, there was no third Mega Man Extreme game. Like, it was this game and then that was it. Like, they made the 2, then they made a bunch of games on Game Boy Advance. Like, they ported Rockman and Crystal, I think? Sorry, no, that was a bootleg. What was it called? Rockman and Forte. Like, they ported that to Game Boy Advance and released it worldwide. Also, there's quite a bit of text, as a heads up. Now, like I said, I have played this a fair bit off stream, so I kind of know what I think about it. So, here we go. So you have this man, who... I don't know what they call him in this version, but in the English version they just call him Gareth. Which is priceless to me. It's like... Yeah, we got Mega, we got Zero, and of course we've got your favourite character, Gareth. You know, that legend. But yeah. Gareth's in the house. Actually, I'm just looking out of interest. How many games are actually on this list? Fair few. Also, yeah, so we've got the save feature, just like the first game. And, yeah, save. I don't know why I'm saving, so I'm pretty sure it's going to lose the save once I'm done playing this anyway. So, yeah, we've got 4 of the bosses from Mega Man X3. Like your favourite Vault Catfish. I never understood how the term catfish works, but whatever. So we go to the water level. I think this is the one you're supposed to do first. I might be wrong on that. But it's the one I did first when I played this off stream. But, yeah, Oil Octopus, whatever his character's name was, I don't remember. Also, we got the nice dash move! There we go. Yeah, got a whole bunch of power-ups on this level. I don't remember the ideal way to do this. I guess just walk forward. Now, one change that this has from the first game. So, firstly, you've got the whole thing with Mega Man and Zero. You eventually get to the point where you can switch between them, or you can play as both at the same time. You've got more weapons. You've got this menu, which doesn't do anything yet, but will become important later. I will try to at least beat this level just to show it off. But you also note, by the way, this meter that says 212 on it, that is basically the game's currency. So they sort of bring back the shop system that was in Mega Man 4 and 5 on Game Boy. So, wait, can you fall down here? Might have missed this part before. Yeah, I'm trying to think, did I do this bit before? I genuinely can't remember. Also, yeah, so I've got the turbo fire and charge turned on, because why not? You know, might as well. Besides, I'm playing with a bit of light going on my end. Interestingly enough, you don't seem to jump any higher underwater than you do above ground. I can't remember if that's something that just the Mega Man X series did differently to the NES games. Like, I'm used to jumping higher underwater, because that's how the original series did it. But, you know, they do a really good job with the soundtrack on this, it must be said. Also, you got this thing. Actually, I'll show you the second one. The second one actually does something of use. So let's do that. Yeah, so here we go. We go this bit. Get that power up, which I don't think really does anything. And that power up. There's another one that's more permanent. Unfortunately, I don't have the leg power up yet. Yeah, it has to be said, like, these Mega Man X are like Game Boy games. Whatever you want to say about them from a gameplay standpoint, they did a really good job of the presentation, it has to be said. Just really solid all round. So I think this was done by Mitchell. I know they made the first one, and I think they made this too. Much like how most of the Game Boy games were done by Minakuchi Engineering. They basically made all of them except the second game. And they made all the other ones. Actually, maybe I should go down. Unfortunately, I can't get any of the upgrades yet. Yeah, so I think, like, down there, I think that's just, like, a mini-boss, if you want to fight it. Oh. Yeah, thankfully you can just do this. Oh, and then instantly get killed by the spikes. Thankfully, they have plenty of checkpoints, so, you know, it's not like Mega Man 3 on Game Boy, where it's like, you die near the end of the level, and then have to do most of the level again. You know, this game is a lot less cruel in that aspect. Oh. Also, okay, let's try not to get killed. So yeah, that whole thing with the ladders. You know, the first time I played this, I didn't understand what the ladders were about, because you can't climb down them, you can only climb up, which is kind of weird. I don't really get that. Oh, also yeah, you got this mini-boss thing that I forgot about. Also yeah, just like the previous game, when you beat a level, if you revisit it later, you can actually just quit. Like, whenever you feel like it. You can't do it until you beat the level, though, which I guess kind of makes sense. To some extent. So yeah, I think you charge up the shots more in this one compared to the first game. Oh, okay, well I tried to jump there and it just ate my input. I'm not sure if that's the game actually eating the input, or if that was just me pressing it incorrectly, because I'm playing this on a Game Boy Advance controller. It's possible, like, either could be possible. I don't know. Okay, try to get my health back. Hooray! Okay, well, I should be ready for the boss. Ugh, Mega Man 3. There's a game that should have been far better than it was. Mind you, I mean, you moved way too slow in that game as well. like that is not a good game. I don't know. Like that game has its fans, but I can tell you right now, I'm not one of them. Also, I'm trying to remember the pattern for this. There is a certain pattern that I seem to recall is quite effective. Unfortunately, I'm kind of just eating it right now. Yeah, I'm just playing like an idiot. Yeah, it's like, why would I climb down the ladder? I'm already underwater. Yes, let's try and fort. But yeah, it's just in case we don't get caught in those, Yeah, here we go. So you just want to avoid this one. I don't know if this is the boss you're supposed to fight first. See, that's just me playing like an idiot. But yeah, notice that my shots, like just the regular shot, does 2 bars of damage, where it felt like for all of the bosses in the previous game, it could only do 1 hit of damage. Like, the bosses have a lot of health, but they don't take as many hits to kill, which helps a lot. Also, the fact that the boss rooms are actually bigger, like they're more than 1 screen in size. Not much bigger, like, they're kind of about the right size, I would say. Where, like, you can always see where the boss is, but you have more room that allows you to avoid getting hit by them. So, which one of these is the shop? I know there's a shop here somewhere. Yeah, this is it. So basically, you can get a bunch of upgrades. So I think this increases defense. This one gives you some kind of like barrier. And yeah, so this upgrades your shot power, so let's get that. And this one also increases your bullet speed. I'm not sure if it really helps that much, because the bullets are already pretty fast. But, you know, I've got the credits, I may as well spend them, just so in case if I die, I'll be ready. Yeah, I can enter the tiger stage if you want. But, you know, I'll play this stage briefly, so... I think the problem with this stage is, you need to get a bunch of other power-ups before you can get the power-ups on it. So, yeah, you have to revisit the stages a fair bit just for that reason. But, you know, just so I can show this off. So you got the tornado move, which is actually quite useful from my experience. But here we go. So select this thing and increase the power, because I may as well. And then we go back in. So I think what that does is, I think it makes me take less damage, but it also makes my shots do more damage. Which is a nice thing, and certainly would have helped a lot in the first game. But as I say, the first game didn't really have a shop function or anything like that. You were basically kind of stuffed, you know. You can't beat a particular boss, well, that's about it for you. I know that eventually you get some body parts allow you to go up there. Unfortunately, I don't have it yet. Yeah, that bit's kind of annoying, but, you know, it's one of those things. You learn where the fireballs are, you learn to avoid them. I do know there's an upgrade here that I can get. Yes, I think that's where when the attack upgrade actually kind of helps. Yeah, so basically you go down this. This part is slightly awkward because yeah, like basically if you're not in the perfect spot where this gap demands you to be, you're just going to keep getting hit over and over. And the fact that you get knocked off to the side every time you get hit kinda sucks. But yeah, it's one of those things you kind of live with. Actually, I'm going to unequip these things. Because I think this is one of those games where if you equip things and die while they're equipped, you lose them. I think that's how this works. But well, I'm probably going to die here in a second anyway. Wait, I can walk up to that enemy and not get hit. Okay, that's weird. Also, kind of weird. Okay, I was expecting that to kill me, but it doesn't. It just does one hit of health. Which you wouldn't necessarily expect, but whatever. Also, yeah, I'm just kind of rushing this bit. So we'll take a look at the Tiger stage in a bit. I was about to say Rock Tiger, but I'm like, well, no, that was the character from Street Heroes. But just show you what happens when you die. So, yeah. So I did spend my credits, that's why they've gone down. So I collected a little bit. You go to the Tiger Bloke stage. I don't remember Mega Man X very well, I've got to be honest. I never got into Mega Man X as a series, but I have to say, this is a huge upgrade over the first game. Like, it looks very similar. But at the same time, it also has a number of changes that make it the far more palatable game, let's say. Because, like, the first game, again, it's kind of a case of, oh, well, you can't beat this boss where you're kind of stuffed. This game, you can at least equip, like, items that help you tackle the stages. So, like, again, like I can equip this thing. That allows me to defeat enemies quicker. Yeah, here we go. So, you know that kill that enemy in few shots. Also, this thing comes back from the previous game, which is welcome. But yeah, it's kind of funny, like, because you look at this compared to the first game, and it looks very similar. But again, like, the shop system improves it. Having the bigger boss rooms makes... it makes the boss fights a lot less of a pain to deal with. Like, they're still challenging, but it feels like you can actually dodge their attacks a little bit more effectively compared to the first game. And I don't know, I think overall just the stage design is better. Like, it feels like you're less liable to get blindsided by, like, spikes or anything like that. The stages feel like they're designed a bit more with the screen size in mind compared to the first game. Like, you can see where the bottomless pits are, generally. Though you do get kind of weirdness like this, where it's like, you can't really... Sometimes you can't really see what's ahead. Like, you have to wait a while, and then the thing appears, which is a bit odd. Like, I think the original stage does this too. But, you know, it's one of those things, it's kind of whatever. So, like, here, so I have to wait for this other platform to show up. You know, it's funny, the first time I just kind of dashed forward and then fell into a bottomless pit. So it's kind of weird that that enemy respawned, where most of them seem not to. Oh, hold on. I can't remember how this works. It's like you have to get a certain part or something, and then you can go through this bit. Is that how it works? Hold on, let me try this. Yeah, because you have to break that wall. It's hard to tell if you can go through it or not, but you can't. Yeah, I don't remember the X3 stage, like how it compares to this. But this version plays perfectly fine. Again, it's got far fewer problems than the first game, let's put it that way. Although, I don't think I have this boss's weakness. Okay, here's a slight problem where the enemies here can actually blindside you because they spawn from the top of the screen and the screen just doesn't scroll up for some reason. Even though it feels like it probably should. Also, okay, I thought there was... Okay, I thought it would actually scroll down there. I thought there was maybe grounds there, but okay. Anyway. Yeah, Mega Man X2, or Rockman X2, whatever you want to call it, for the Game Boy Color. Well, let's see where... The first game did not rate very well. I was not a fan of the original. I thought the boss fights kind of ruined it. This is far better than the original. Like, Mega Man Extreme 2, Rockman X2, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's got better stage design. It gives you more resources to actually deal with the bosses and just the levels and everything else. There's more of an incentive to revisit stages, I think, because of that currency system that the game has. So it's got that going for it. Well, actually it controls more or less the same. But you got the whole thing with Zero being added into the gameplay, so if you want to challenge yourself with the melee attacks that he has, that's an option. So you've got that too, which has a bit more going on than the previous game. The boss rooms are bigger, which makes them a fair bit more manageable than the first game. So yeah, it's certainly better than Mega Man Extreme. It's better than Zook Hero Z. Zook Hero Z is just a lot more jank than this. It's better than Railway. I'd rather play this than Emo Down. I think it holds up better than a Digital Monster 2001. It's a better game than Megalit. You know, I'd say Mega Man X2 is Mega in its own right. More so than Megalit. Megalit is okay, but it's a little bit pedestrian. It's better than Bomberman GB 3. I'd certainly take it over Buster Move 2 Arcade Edition. It's definitely better than Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone, or whatever you want to call it. You know, if only because, you know, I think Mega Man is a character far more likely to represent trans rights. It's better than Yars' Revenge, the Kotile Ultimatum. I'd play this over King of the Zoo. It's certainly a better game than Metroid 2 Return of Samus, but I think the real question is Rockman X2, Mega Man Extreme 2, whatever, is it better than Mega Man 4 on Game Boy? Because Mega Man 4 and 5, they were kind of like the sum total completion of the previous Mega Man games on Game Boy, where they kind of learnt from the mistakes of the previous games, where you look at something like Mega Man X3, and then you figure, okay, we need to do something a bit different with the levels. You know, let's add the whole currency system so you can do a bit more in the game. You've got more tools with which to deal with the levels. And the levels themselves were just generally far less bad than the ones in Mega Man 3, I think. You know, you think of Dustman's level in that game. It's worse than anything in Mega Man 4 or 5. But I do think the movement speed in 4 and 5 is still a bit too slow compared to what I want from Mega Man. Maybe that's just, you know, compensating for the limitations of the Game Boy. But when you're looking at these games now, it doesn't really help. Like, I would play this over Mega Man 4. Yeah, it's a better game than Mega Man 4. I think this is the best that you're going to get with Mega Man on a handheld system in 8-bit. You know, it holds up better. Because it kind of fixes all the problems of the first game and adds ideas from previous games to make it even better. It's better than Track and Field. It's certainly better than Mr. Chin's Gourmet Paradise. You know, I would take this over that game. It's better than Wario Land 2. It's better than RoboCop. I would take this over a Bomb Jack. I mean, Oracle of Ages, I have my reservations with it, as good as that game may be. I'm not sure that that game, you know, the combat or whatever, holds up quite as well compared to Mega Man X2. Yeah, it's better than Oracle of Ages. And I think about Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, how that compares. Because Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, I mean, they basically converted Super Mario Bros. To the Game Boy Color. And as good as that game is, as classic as it may be, it's not classic, because that is reserved for clacks. As classic as that game may be, you do really have the problem with just not being able to see what's above or below you sometimes. So sometimes you may hit an enemy that you didn't see, or you may get hit, or you may fall into a bottomless pit that you just didn't see coming. And that's a problem that you don't have with the original Super Mario Bros. So I'd say this is better than that. It's better than Netto King of Fighters 97. I mean, Pokemon Gen 1, as good as that game is, it is kind of busted in places. There's a lot to like about that game. But it fixes certain things with the sequels. Yeah, I think this is better than Pokemon Gen 1. But I don't think it's better than Super Mario Land 2. I think if I was going to play one of these... Like, Super Mario Land 2 is a game that I would be totally fine with sort of revisiting and just playing through and just having a good time with that. So I think... Yeah, I think this is our new number 12. Rockman X2 Solar Racer. Really good showing. Certainly far better than the previous game. Well, while we're here, let's just have a quick go on one more game. Because I just happened to have it here with me, and I thought, you know, why not take a look at this one? I wasn't going to bother with any more cartridge games, but let's do this one just for the hell of it. Kirby's Pinball Land, because I'm in the mood for a bit more pinball. And, you know, we got to have a second pinball game to compare Pinball Revenge of the Gator to. So let's see what Kirby's Pinball Land is going on. Because, you know, we've looked at Block Ball previously. Here we go. Pinball Land. Let's do it. So this is going to be just a quick play of this one. Wispy Kreko or Poppy. But we're going to go for a good old Poppy Bros. Poppy Brothers, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, you got, like, different tables in this one. What if Kirby was a different kind of ball? And you could tilt the game! Yeah, see, that was what was missing from the Gator game. You could not tilt the table in that one. Which made it a bit of an arse to play at times. Okay, here we go. Can we get Poppy Bros? Well, not like that. Aha! Trying to maximise my score. I will say for the record, by the way, I'm not good at this game. Just so you know. I've played this a little bit in the past. And you know what's really funny? This cartridge came with a bunch of scores, presumably set by the previous owner, and I have not been able to beat them. So I don't know if the person who had it before me got really good at this game, or if I'm just really bad at it. But it's probably the latter. Oh, here we go. Ugh. Give me that apple. Hooray. Yes, there was a Game Boy game with a sensor. I think it was called Tilt and Tumble. I've never played that game, and I don't think it ever got released in Europe. I've never seen any copies of it anyway, so... I'm gonna guess it never got released over here. That would be an interesting one to play. I know they did something similar with Wario. Like, there was a Wario game that... It was a WarioWare Twisted. I think that's the game. Which, again, I never played that one. I've played a few of the WarioWare games, but I didn't play that one. So, maybe that's something to do at some point. So right now, I'm just kind of like, stay on the top screen for as long as possible. That's how I always play these games. Ooh. Ugh. No! Ugh. See, that's like me every single time I play one of these games. It always happens. Just straight down the middle. Because that's just the pinball experience. It's like a Frosty. Well, it's looking a lot less frosty than usual. And, yeah, you gotta time that just right. Forgot you had to time it. Yeah, like, you see the top score? I have never beaten it. Something tells me I'm probably not going to. Especially because, like, you start on the bottom table. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can actually beat Frosty, which is probably a bad idea, because I probably want to get away from the bottom table, really. But no, I'm not sure you can, actually. Trying to see if I can get shot upwards. There we go. Oh, okay, I forgot pressing select does that. I thought it was like a tilt button. I forgot you could actually save this game, though I guess it kind of explains the text on title screen where it says, like, you know, start new game. Just kind of weird to have a save feature in a pinball game, but whatever. At least it's an effective way to save your high scores. I think you can beat this game. At least you can if you're better at it than I am. Okay, so we made it. Okay, let's try to survive here. I can't remember if this game has multiple tables or not. I may have to check that when I get a game over here. Ugh. Yeah, I keep pressing select thinking it's going to tilt. And then it doesn't. Because I think only, like... Yeah. Yeah, it's like B and it's right that you have to do for that. As I say, I'm rubbish at this game. I think I'll just play this one quickly because, you know, me playing this game tends to last like 5 minutes anyway. Yeah, that's right. You have to hit Frosty enough times and then he throws you. Try not to go down. It's kind of weird the way the table kind of... Yeah, it's got that sort of flick screen scrolling where if you go near the top, it will, like, show half of the next table upwards. Oh, there we go. And that's an effective way to score. Unfortunately, I was never good at scoring. Also, okay. Yeah, so, maybe you can beat this game if you're not absolutely rubbish at it like I am. Actually, I'll, yeah. Shout out to Paul, who was far better at this game than I ever was. Let's, have a quick go. There we go, Cracker. We'll see if there's anything different. Yeah, so you do get different tables. It's kind of weird that you can't just easily select them from the menu, but whatever. Also, yeah, having the, Game Boy Color thing, it has its issues where sometimes certain things are rendered as sprites and it doesn't completely work. I have seen people, because I looked up the achievement set for this game just out of curiosity. I'm not going to bother getting the achievements on this. I've seen people who've tried to get the achievements on this and they're like, oh, there's the most frustrating achievement set. It's like hell game to get achievements on. But that's not a slight against the game. I think it's just, like, how difficult it is if you actually want to beat it. As I say, I have no intention of beating this one. I'm more just interested in, just having a go at it, really. I mean, it's kind of what pinball is to me. I'm like, you know, I'm rubbish at pinball and always have been. I'm just kind of a case of, I just want to get the highest score possible. Oh yeah, Sonic Spinball. You know, there was a Game Boy Advance version of Sonic Spinball, which I want to say was not good. Yeah, I seem to recall, like, some of those, like, GBA conversions of Mega Drive games tended to be quite ropey. It's like they had that, and they had Echo the Dolphin. I don't know if that one was any good. But yeah, I mean, Sonic Spinball wasn't a great game on the Mega Drive. It was a very jank. Oh. Oops. Ugh. Okay, that's not how you do that. Yeah, there you go. Anyway. Not sure if there's much more that I need to show for this game. I mean, it has just gone past 6 PM. But we'll have a quick go on it anyway. Just because I can. Who do you think Paul was who got high scores on this? Maybe it was Paul Chuckle. Maybe this is what I did in his spare time. It was mastering Kirby. Okay, well, I think we'll leave this here anyway. But where does Kirby's Pinball Land go on the list? Well, we really have to compare it to the one pinball game that we have, which is Pinball Revenge of the Gator, if I can find it. Yeah, Pinball Revenge of the Gator, which coincidentally is right below Kirby's Block Ball. Well, there certainly has more going on. You know, you have multiple tables that you can choose from, so it's got that going for it. It's got a tilt function, which Revenge of the Gator did not have, which is a massive fault. Because if you're going to play a pinball game, you got to have tilt. Like you need to have some way to direct where the ball is going to go, and if you can't do that, sometimes you're just kind of screwed. And that's kind of the issue with Revenge of the Gator. You're just screwed sometimes in that game, and it just has a bit less going on in terms of features anyway. Like there's more to Kirby's Pinball Land. It's not my favourite pinball game ever, but it's certainly got more going on. You know, like you want to play a quality pinball game on the Game Boy, this is probably the best you're going to get. You know, I'd take this over Kirby's Block Ball. It's better than Yars' Revenge, the Kotile Ultimatum. It's better than Donkey Kong Land. And it is better than Felix the Cat. It's better than Tetris Blast, just because I don't think the mode selection in that game is necessarily all that great. I'm not sure it goes much higher, though. As good as this game is, it feels like there's something missing. I don't know what it is. But I've played other pinball games from this era that I do like more, like Dragon's Fury or Psycho Pinball, and I'm not sure I'd put this on the level of those games. Those games weren't on the Game Boy, but they were out at around the same time, so yeah. I mean, if anything, I would say, yeah, this is not necessarily a top-tier game, I don't think. Like, it's better than the monochrome version of Drop Zone, but it's not better than the colour version. I would play the colour version of Drop Zone over this. The monochrome version you just can't see as well. I mean, it's not as good as Elevator Action. It's not as good as Mega Man 5. It's not as good as Metroid 2 Return of Samus. No, I think, yeah, it's between Game Boy Gallery and Drop Zone. Like, I personally would get more out of playing Game Boy Gallery. So it's the 44th best game on the list. But it is the best Kirby game that I've played. Now, I do have one more multi-cart to show off in this nice green case that I picked up from a local game shop just because I could. And this actually is the last cartridge I'm going to take a look at, I think. We'll see. So, yes, it is the 2085 USA 95 and 1 USA Color Advance, or whatever it's called. And, well, just a preview of what's to come for the next stream. Show you what is on this one. Yes, it's got all your favourite games. Xena Warrior PS Triple, Bobby Pet Rescue, Buster Movie, WF Betrayal, just the one W, Wendy Witch Day, Woody Woo Pecky, Pokemon Crystal, which we've done, Powerpuff Girls, Zelda Seasons, yeah, I'm going to have to do that as well, Harvest Moon, I haven't got a fucking clue how you play Harvest Moon, so that's going to be an interesting one. Mario Brothers DX, I've done that one before, Street Fighter 2, Dragon Ball Z. I'm probably not going to do the Dragon Ball game, and I'll show you why when we do that next stream. And the rest of these I've already done. So yeah, it's really just going to be the games on the first page, and then we're basically done with this series, I think. So yeah, that will be for next time, however. So until then, enjoy your evening, take care, and I will see you all later.